Right, my dears, we are going live. Brother Isidore, it's in your hand now.
Yes, ma'am. Respected principal, dear teaching and non-teaching staff, respected PTA members, dear parents, distinguished alumni, our well-wishers, and my dear student friends. Good morning and a happy feast to all of you. As Satan is the ruler in hell, so Michael is the governor of heaven. The great archangel is not only protector of the Christians on earth, but of those in purgatory as well. He assists the dying, accompanies the souls to their private judgment, brings them to purgatory, and afterward presents them to God at their entrance into heaven. Thus, he is the actual patron of the holy souls. After the creation of the heavens and earth, there was a battle in heaven. Lucifer, the light bearer, the morning star, who was the chief among angels, rebelled against God. Because of Lucifer's envy, pride, and desire to sit upon God's throne, he did not want to be subject to God or to serve him. He took a third of the angels into revolt with him. Michael, however, was loyal to God and declared he would serve God. With the other 2/3 of the angels, he defeated Lucifer and cast him and his supporters out of heaven. Lucifer now became Satan, and those angels who supported him became devils. As a reward for his loyalty, Michael was made the chief angel. Due to this leadership role, the church named the archangel a saint, and the Eastern liturgy assigned him the title of the highest general. Besides these roles of a military nature, there is another role which was assigned to St. Michael, that of healer. This tradition started in Phrygia, where many healing hot springs were dedicated to him. Soon, Constantinople revered him as a celestial doctor. As time went on, he was involved in a variety of other roles. St. Michael has 4 main responsibilities, as we know from scripture and Christian tradition. The first is to combat Satan. The second is to escort the faithful to heaven at their hour of death. The third is to be a champion of all Christians and the church itself. And the fourth is to call men and women from life on earth to their heavenly judgment. On this auspicious day, let us try to imbibe the quality of loyalty which the Archangel Michael had, asking him to intercede for a soul so that we may be able to face the day-to-day challenges boldly. Thank you.
A very good morning to all. Dear Brother Isidore, our Vice Principal, respected dignitaries from the Ex-Michaelites family, dear members of the staff, and my dear students, I'm extremely happy to welcome you all for this talk show. John Adams said, and I quote, "If your actions inspire others to dream more, learn more, do more, and become more, you are a leader." We all need inspiration to free our soul from the bondage of worries and give our life a direction. Inspiration is food for our soul. that desperately drives us to be better and be the person we dream to be. I am now going to narrate a story about the alumni of your college. However, let me hasten to tell you that this has no reference to our own ex-Michaelites. On the other hand, I would like our present Michaelites to listen to the story intently. A group of highly established alumni got together to visit their old university professor. The conversation among them soon turned into a complaint about their stressful work and life. The professor went to his kitchen and returned with a large pot of coffee, an assortment of cups, including ceramic, plastic, glass, crystal, some plain looking, some expensive, and some exquisite. The professor told them to help themselves to the coffee. After all the students had a cup of coffee in their hands, the professor said, "Did you notice that all the nice looking cups are taken and only the plain inexpensive ones are left behind? While it is normal for everyone to want the best for themselves, that is also the source of problems and stress in your life. The cup itself adds no quality to the coffee. In most of the cases, it's just more expensive and hides what we drink," the professor continued. What all of you really wanted was coffee, not a cup. But all of you consciously went for good looking, expensive cups and then began eyeing each other's cups. Let us consider that life is the coffee and the jobs, houses, cars, things, money, and positions are the cups. The type of cup we have does not define or change the quality of our lives. Sometimes we fail to enjoy the coffee by concentrating only on the cup we have. Being happy doesn't mean everything around is perfect. It means that you have decided to see beyond the imperfection and find peace. And the peace lies within you, not in your career, jobs, or the houses you have. We as the teachers exactly are looking within ourselves, the inner goodness, and the same goodness from our own students that the professor was looking for. This idea of holding the talk show was dawned on me when I was pondering how to celebrate the Feast of St. Michael's in a relevant and significant manner. My earlier discourse with one of our retired teachers who spoke so well about her good old days was the reason that paved the way for this program. Alumni has 3 core points: reflection of the past, your own school experience; represent the present, connecting your current experience into reality; link to the future, sharing that experience with the present batch of students to guide them. There are certain suggestions in the proposal to strengthen the alumni with our school. The alumni can be involved periodically to have interaction with the current students of higher secondary section. The alumni can have interaction with the staff to share the work and field experience, which will be useful for the staff. To coach the students as mentors to get first-hand field experience in various fields where our alumni have been placed. Scholarships can be given for deserving students who aspire to pursue their higher studies. Career guidance can be provided regularly for students of high school. It's a time to regroup and bring back all your good old memories of school days. This event is only a maiden attempt, an initiative to bring all the ex-Michaelites together. I'm sure there are hundreds of them are waiting to join us. It's only a beginning for regrouping. I hope I won't be misunderstood for not including many of the ex-Michaelites in the program. We can organize many more programs in the coming years too. Looking forward to your support and cooperation to strengthen the alumni at St. Michael's Academy. Thanks to one and all.
Thank you, brothers. Heaven's song for you, my dear friends. May the music of the heavens dance around you in the air. May the peace of God the Almighty keep your heart and soul from care. May each step that you are taking be paved with great success. And behind each door you open, there be love and happiness. May the gift of true contentment glow like sunlight on your face. May the angels sing into your life a song of God's own grace. And everywhere you travel, each path that you walk on, may God's love shine forth from you in each note of every song. May angels keep guard over you as you walk along life's way, and may your life be truly blessed as you start each brand new day. God bless you all. Vanakkam, Vandanam, Suswagatam. Should not miss you. Anna, Isaac, nay ho. I, Sophia Wilson, deem this as a pleasant privilege to welcome you all to this unique event, History with a Difference, our Michaelites' journey to success. My heartiest greetings to each one of you, logged in as one great family on this lovely day. And when I say one great family, I mean it. For our Creator formed us after His image, thus uniting us with cords of love. I'm thrilled to bits to have you all, dear Michaelites, and my heartfelt thanks goes to all of you for having accepted our invitation amidst undescribable and demanding commitment. And therefore, you are great. And hence, of your greatness, all of us feel great too. At this cheerful moment, on behalf of the entire service of our school, I extend a very warm welcome to one and all, dear friends. Wishing you, dear ex-Michaelites and budding Michaelites, an interesting day. God bless us all.
Thank you, Mrs. Sophia. To succeed in your mission, you must have a single-minded devotion to your goal, by APJ Abdul Kalam, Doctor. A very good morning to all and a warm welcome to everyone. I thank all the ex-Michaelites for joining us for today's talk show with our Michaelites. Now, without further ado, let's introduce our ex-Michaelites to you all. We have with us online Mr. Vikram Kota, a Chief Operating Officer, GRT Hotels, Dr. Kannan Pugarendi, Founder Chairman of Indian Institute of Sports Medicine, Director of Spark Institute, Mr. Sudarshan, a PhD scholar at IIT Madras in the field of internal combustion engines, Mr. Vikram Ravi, Director at Falcon.io X Unmetric, Ms. Anna Isaac, a research analyst in Hong Kong, Mr. Joseph Daniel, Global Head of R&D Outdoor Lighting Systems at Signify Innovation Labs, Dr. Varsha, an orbit and oculoplasty surgeon at Shankara Nethralaya, Chennai, Dr. Varun Rangarajan, a general physician at Apollo Hospitals. Now, we have many more online. Over to Ms. Dixina.
We are happy to have with us a pilot, Rohit Paul, the junior first officer with Indigo Airlines, Dr. Radhakrishnan Paulraj, an orthopedic surgeon, Miss Ashwati Nair has enrolled as an advocate with the Madras Bar Association and currently teaches corporate law modules at the Law School and Business School. Mr. Ayush, presently the Strategic Accounts Manager for the UK market at Freshworks. Miss Neena Justin, Senior Communications Professional. Miss Sanjana Saradi, an Indian film actress and a model. Miss Rinku Stephen is a product manager at Flipkart. Miss Sonalini Esther, the founder and principal architect at Atelier and principal interior designer at Bespoke Studios 7. And finally, we have Ms. Reshma Fatima, the co-founder of a home-based gift venture, the Gift Marché. Every thought you produce, anything you say, any action you do, it bears your signature. So are the dignitaries for the day. Over to Mrs. Anita Ribeiro.
Thank you, Mrs. Dixina. This is the day that the Lord has made. We will rejoice and be glad in it. Good morning, respected principal, respected vice principal, dear teachers, parents, our dear alumni, and my beloved students of SMA. It gives me immense pleasure to introduce the students who are going to interact with our eminent ex-Michaelites. Nishwita from class 6, Tamana Deepak from class 7, Shriman Raghu Krishnan from class 8, Irene Amelia from standard 9, Deborah Bertrina from standard 9, Amika Stasia from standard 10, Laurel Benedict from standard 10, Halsey Ria from grade 11, Akshay Pranava from grade 11, Yvonne Eucharist from 12th grade, Sri Shaya from 12th grade, and Maria Thompson from 12th grade, Ramita Anand from grade 12, Chriswin Anthony from grade 12, and Kanishka from grade 12. All the best, dear children. Now over to Nishwita.
Good morning and greetings to all. I'm Nishmita, a sixth grader. It's an honor and privilege to virtually have with me Mr. Vikram Kota, an iconic personality, on a live intro. Good morning, sir. A very warm welcome to the show, sir. Dear sir, it would be very nice of you if you would, by the way, answer a few questions of mine. And my first question to you is, sir, we are proud to identify ourselves as a part of St. Michael's Academy, which has been a second home to iconic personalities like you. How do you feel SMA has molded you to be what you are?
Thank you, Nishwita. That's a nice question. And first of all, let me thank the principal and the teachers and whoever organized this. I think it's a fabulous initiative. And after so many years, I think it's the first time that the school is doing something like this. And that too during these troubled times when we can't meet each other and we are doing it online. I think it's a commendable job. I think we need to give a big hand of applause to all of you. And Nishmita, coming to your question, yes, definitely my school has molded what I am today. I have spent all my school years in St. Michael's, from the lower kindergarten up to the 12th. So throughout, I just had a couple of years when I studied in Hyderabad, but rest of the entire thing, I remember that we started off in the junior 8, which is a very small school, which didn't even have a proper roof. And that's how the school grew. And I also saw the present building being made brick by brick. So it brings back a lot of memories. Of course, I mean, if you look at our school, it has taught me how to make friends and understand people. It has taught me to be competitive. In this present world, that's very important. And it's given me a winning attitude, which helps me every day. And it also taught me to help others and to work in teams. St. Michael's is not only for academics, as most of you would know, it also encourages equal emphasis on sports, debates, dramatics, and this makes a person ready to go into the big world and win in the world also.
Thank you so much, sir.
Hi, this is Laurel, and I'm going to interview Dr. Kannan Pugalendi. He is a director of the Spark Institute. Sir, you have been a massive inspiration for me. You have done copious occupations from being a sports physician to starting the unique dance medicine to help children. As a student of St. Michael's Academy, I have adored you for your wonderful deeds, and the fact that you were once a Michaelite motivates me to do the same. So, sir, this is my question for you. So, why did you want to do sports in medicine? That seems a little specific, don't you think?
Sure. Thanks, Laura. Fantastic. I think we began with a bang. That's what St. Michael's is known for. You know, respected principal, staff, students, and my colleagues who have been ex-Michaelites. Phenomenal opportunity for all of us to come together. I think I should thank every mind that went through this process of putting us all together this day. Thank you. To answer your question, my passion for sport, as Vikram said, comes from St. Michael's. That's the base on which, remember, we had almost every sport. We had boxing, we had boxing. We had hockey, football, basketball, cricket, name it. We had the ground, we had the facility, we had the people, and the staff were keen on playing sport. We were very keen on doing that. So that is the first base on which, when my mother wanted me to do medicine, okay, I can take that too. So the base has already been given. That doesn't mean academically we were poor, because we did ICSC. I was able to go into the PUC and get into my medical college without any hassle, because ICSC had a higher standard, and it went into the state board for a PUC in a college. It was a cakewalk. So I think, as you see the stepping stones, that was laid by St. Michael. So I have been there in 1969, second standard student. And I passed through the 10th standard, and I was about to join the 12th, even joined, but I had to go to PUC to do my +2, instead of the +2, the PUC, because of the ICSE, you are given the privilege to overcome. I mean, you can bypass 1 year advantage in those days to directly do your PUC without the 11th standard. So it's all came from St. Michael's, nowhere else. So I mixed that passion and obsession. Passion is sport, obsession became medicine. So sports medicine.
Thank you, sir.
We are glad to have Mr. Sudarshan here with us, and I am Ms. Akshay Pranava from class 11. Sir, to begin with, we would like to know about your experience in Renault Nissan Technologies, your nature of job, and the challenges that you have faced.
Hi, good morning to everyone. It's nice to see so many people, and I'm happy to be a part of this. So as far as my experience in Renault Nissan goes, it was nice. It was very nice to be able to interact with a totally different culture, the Japanese culture. I was working for Nissan, so I was working with the Japanese people, and I had to collaborate with them for my projects. First off, the major challenge we had was to overcome the language barrier. Now, hailing from St. Michael's, as you would all know, we are generally quite proficient in English, right? So it's very easy for us to go out there and converse, and in general, personally, I have this habit of rattling away at fast rates. So that had to be curbed, because when you are speaking with, say, for the Japanese, you have to really cut down your speed, and you have to watch what you're saying. In the sense, It helps if you speak in broken English as against speaking with proficient English. So that was the first challenge. But on the other hand, another challenge is keeping up with them with the pace of working. They are extremely proficient in working. They are very, very, very punctual. Something that really throws you off if you're not used to it. For example, if meetings are set and they're supposed to start at 8 a.m., the Japanese will be ready by 7:55, and they'll be on the dot 8. The meeting will start. So, and there is no excuse for being late and stuff like that. On the other hand, they're also ultra polite. It was really weird because after, I completed my post graduation also at IIT Madras, and I was used to being spoken to in a very offhand manner. If you make mistakes or if something is not quite right, you will get quite yelled at or blasted at. On the other hand, even though the Japanese have all these strict rules and blah blah blah, they are very, very polite. So one thing that I took off was learn to be punctual. It's not one, quite a few things actually. First thing, learn to be punctual on the dot. Second, try to be ultra polite with people. That really helped. That really helped. So this is my major takeoff from there.
Thank you so much, sir. That's wonderful.
Hi, I'm Ramita of class 12A, and my question is to Mr. Vikram Ravi. To begin with, Mr. Vikram, can you please tell us about Unmetric and what it primarily does? Also, tell us more about your role in the company.
Thank you. In addition to what, if I can call Vikram Anna and Kannan Pugalindi Anna said, I'd also like to say that it's even inspiring for someone like me to hear some of the Ex-Michaelites. So thank you for this opportunity. In terms of what Unmetric does, so we were a social media analytics company. So as you all know, there's Facebook, there's Twitter, there's Instagram, and all these things. So we help bigger companies like a Coca-Cola, a Pepsi, a Unilever, and so on to analyze how they are performing, how other brands are performing, and kind of improve on their social media strategy. Because like all of you would sort of know, social is the new place where brands have to market themselves, right? And this is a way for them to improve their own social media presence. What do I do right now? So last year we actually got acquired by a bigger social media company. So we were only doing analytics, which is one part of, say, what someone in the social media field would need. But this company was doing multiple other things, but they didn't do analytics. So we were a good fit for them. So right now I head the Indian operations for a company called Falcon. And we are kind of slowly integrating Unmetric into Falcon. So that's what it is. Thank you.
That's really informative, sir. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. My name is Ivan of class 12A, and I have a few questions for Miss Anna Isaac. Miss Anna, what did inspire you to become a research analyst? What led you down this path?
Hi, Evan. Thank you for the question. And I'd just like to say it's a privilege and a pleasure to be here with you all today. What inspired me to be a research analyst? Honestly, it wasn't a plan per se. When I finished from St. Michael's, I did physics, chemistry, math, and biology. I was in group A. But by the time it was time to move into college, I said, I didn't want to go into the sciences. I'm going to change stream. So I did economics instead. It was a bit of a change. It took some learning and adjusting. And obviously, when you do economics, you can either do hardcore economics, or you can be just a little bit adjacent and do something like what most people do in the private sector, which is analytics and research. So since in economics, it gives you the ability to be able to deal with large data sets, analytics was somewhat a natural fit after that. I happened to be recruited from college straight away, and I found myself liking research because one is you get to deal with a lot of information that's interesting and you make sense of it. But the other half of it is you need to be able to make a coherent story with that research that you've done. There's no point researching stuff if you can't do anything with that information that you've got. So that was research was interesting. It's kind of sleuthing in one sense. You're a detective doing some research, but you're also a storyteller, because now you have to give a good story with what you have already researched. So it was interesting. I found that it was a good fit for me, and I liked working in the field.
Thank you very much, ma'am.
Welcome.
Hello, everyone. This is Deborah, and my question goes to Joseph Daniel, sir. Sir, what is one of your truly notable experience in our school?
Hi, Deborah. First of all, let me thank the principals, teachers, and my fellow students for giving me this opportunity. If you ask me one truly notable experience, it's very, very difficult for me because the best part of my life was the time I spent in Michael's. So there's so many experiences. There are a lot of experiences on the field and off the field for me because I used to do a lot of sports. I used to be on the ground all the time. Dr. Kannan is here. He used to, guide me a lot in my younger days. Yeah, let me think, because there are so many important moments I want to touch upon, if I can answer that way, right? So be it the choir, be it an annual day show where I'm playing a small part, or being part of the cricket team, being part of the football team or athletics team, just the assembly, every day, I just, if I look back at it now, right, those are opportunities that I'm kind of jealous at the moment that you are in that position, because once you come out of school, many of those things doesn't seem to exist. Then you always have to reflect back. For me, if you ask me, one single moment was in a cricket match. I used to be a tennis player as a kid, around 10, 12 years old at that moment in time. I just joined the cricket team because they didn't have a playing 11. So I had gone along with them to a school called Don Bosco in Egmore. So I used to be nice and plumpy, just like I am now, but they used to put me in slips. So I managed to take a couple of catches. So I don't get to bat because I was just making up the 11. So we lost that match terribly. So I was sad, and I was sitting down and probably crying a little bit. And we had another match that followed. We were in the finals. There was a coach in Michael's, Mr. Gavin. He was a hockey coach. He used to come in with us when our cricket coach isn't coming with us. And he said, Joseph, you seem to be padded up. Why don't you go opening? And for me, I was just sulking and sitting in a corner. I didn't remove my pads because he said, why don't you go in? I just went in and started playing the next match. Believe me, that was an accident. That was a moment that happened. I said, okay, I went in. And since then, I've been opening for the school, for the city, for the state, even at the South Zone level. So you can call it chance. You can call it a turning point. So that's probably one moment I want to call. I think for us as Michaelites, it's a great privilege that we have facilities, faculty, an opportunity to try out different things. So please do try everything that you can in Michael's while you are there.
Thank you so much, sir.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Tamanna of Standard 7, and I'd like to put forth my questions to Dr. Varsha Bakivati. Dr. Varsha, to start with, could you please briefly trace your journey right from your school days?
Yeah, so I did my schooling at St. Michael's, as you all know, like nearly for about 7 years, and passed out in 2000. And after which I did my MBBS at CMC Vellore, and followed by a post-graduation in ophthalmology. And then have specialized in orbit and oculoplasty surgery at Sankar Nethralaya, and I'm a consultant there right now.
Thank you, ma'am.
Good morning to all. I'm Shreya here, and this is my question to Dr. Varun. Dr. Varun, you passed out of our school in the year 2009, and after completing your MBBS, you are currently working as a general physician. Dr. Varun, it is a known fact that studying medicine is hectic. Is there something that you wish you knew before joining medical school?
Sorry, can you just tell me the last part again, please?
Is there something that you wished you knew before joining MBBS?
Okay, yeah. First of all, yeah, good morning, everybody. This is actually great seeing you all. Thank you for this opportunity. And yeah, okay, I passed out from Michael's in 2009. Yeah, before joining medicine, I would say you should just go with the flow. Maybe like now, maybe you should get prepared for your NEET. I wasn't actually really prepared to enter into MBBS. So this was actually all of a sudden. But I've always wanted to be a doctor. But and finally, I ended up being a doctor. So I would say when you just I would say if you just want to study MBBS, just go with the flow and just learn stuff there in the college, and that would really get you going in the college and even in your future. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Doctor.
Hello, everybody. I am Shriman. Today, I will be putting forward some questions to Mr. Rohan. Mr. Rohan, being a pilot, I'm sure, is a very fascinating job with a lot of pros and cons. By putting forth these questions, I hope all of us can get a deeper insight on your interesting job. Halfway through your course in civil engineering, what inspired you to branch off into the aviation industry?
Hi, Shriman, and hi, everyone who is here on the call, all the teachers and brothers. Thank you so much for this opportunity. And it indeed is a privilege to be here with you all. So, the thing is, when I was in school, I actually wanted to be a pilot. But the thing is, I didn't know much about how to go about it because I didn't have anyone to guide me. And I gave in to what my parents wanted to do, which was engineering. So, started off with civil engineering, which I decided in just a period of maybe a month. And I tried my best to like civil engineering, but it just didn't work. And about 3 semesters into my civil engineering course, I decided, this is not what I want to do. And I told my parents, and at that time, they were like, okay, you've got to take it all up. We'll provide all the financial backing that you need, but it's all up to you. We can't really guide you with this. So I decided not to quit my course, but at the same time, while I was doing my civil engineering, I also cleared 3 important exams to be a pilot. So yeah, and in 2017, I started training, and in Jan of this year, 2020, I joined Indigo Airlines.
Thank you for your answer, sir.
Hello. Good morning, everyone. I am Irene Amelia of Standard 9. I will be asking this question of mine to Dr. Radha Krishnan. Now, this question might be a little difficult because St. Michael's Academy is a place filled with not one but innumerable magical things and experiences. So, how would you describe your experience at St. Michael's Academy in one word, Doctor?
Dear children and my dear friends, please mute yourself. And only the person who speaks can unmute. Thank you. God bless you. Yeah.
Yeah. Good morning to one and all here. I'm very glad to see my seniors from school are in my same specialty. Me today standing as an orthopedic surgeon. First thing I want to thank my school, for the fact that where I stand today, it's purely because of SMA. And to describe my experience, I have been in St. Michael's right from the kindergarten. So nearly 14 years I had an experience, wonderful experience. So to describe it in one word, it's actually very difficult. As Irene said, I would say it's more like a life-changing experience, what I had. Something like a metamorphosis, like how a caterpillar, one fine day sheds out and becomes a beautiful butterfly. So I would say something like that. it so happened I'm really blessed and gifted towards that.
Thank you, Doctor.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Anne Maria Thompson from class 12, and my question is to Miss Ashwati Nair. What inspired you to take up law and to further pursue it? What interested you to take up commercial taxation and specialize in corporate law and further pursue international commercial law?
Thank you, Anne, and good morning to everybody. So, I wasn't really known for academics in school. I was probably more known for sports. And it might have come as a surprise to a lot of them that I'm doing academics now. So, to start off with, I think my family background plays a huge role in my decision to take law. My granddad was a businessman himself, and as a child, I could see that he was going through a lot of meetings and for very important decisions that he was taking for his business. So when I was in the ninth grade itself, I decided that I wanted to do law. But like everybody gives in to parental pressure, I took physics, chemistry, computer science, and I absolutely hated it. Because I knew for a fact that this is not what I wanted to do, because at the back of my head, I knew I wanted to do law. So I was thinking to myself, why am I having to deal with numbers when I have to be dealing with something more important? So once I was done with school, the more important decision was that law is important for everybody, and ignorance of law is really not an excuse. So in order to help the society a bit, I decided that I was going to do law. And as for my 5 years in law school, I think I missed out a lot of things that I wasn't able to do in school. There weren't much sports activities that I was able to pursue in school, but in college, but I did in school. And I had to take a very big decision of whether I had to choose between academics or studies, and I had to pick studies, unfortunately. And but the brighter side is that I am pursuing academics now. And as for my specialization, I knew that I wasn't into lit. It wasn't my cup of tea. I really didn't enjoy going to the courts because of how long things take. But I enjoy the fast-paced environment with the commercial side. And as for taxation, I did eventually end up going back to numbers. So yeah, that's my journey from school to law. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ms. Ashwati Nair.
Good morning. I am Crispin Anthony, and I'll be interviewing Mr. Ayush. My question to Mr. Ayush is, to begin with, it's been nearly 8 years since you graduated from St. Michael's. Can you share with us any unforgettable memory from your school life?
Before I answer, I'd like to wish everyone here a pleasant morning. Unironically, I'm probably among the youngest ex-Michaelites here on this call. So 8 years isn't that long a time frame if you keep it as a frame of reference for everybody on this call. But that being said, I think to answer your question, there are a bunch of things like from the top of my head. In school, I was cultural secretary. So when we won the Church Park Culturals, which is called Swirl, for I think the 7th time in a row. So when I was in 11th, it was 6th, and when I was in 12th, it was 7th time in a row. That was a big moment. Apart from that, like again, from the top of my head, my final sports day was fairly interesting. I was burning up with a fever of 102, and I had 2 events lined up on that day. One was a medley relay where I was running the 400 meters, and the other one was the grueling 1,500 meters run. So I don't know how I managed, but gold in the medley relay, silver in the 1,500. So that's something which I think I will definitely remember for a very long time.
It's very interesting, Mr. Ayush. Thank you.
Good morning to each and one of you present here. I am Halsey, and today my question goes to Miss Nina Justin. If I was down to my last dollar, I would spend it on public relations. Let's begin with the question, Mom. Miss Justin, you have been in this industry for more than 6.5 years. As a young aspiring woman, what are all the challenges you face to sustain a successful PR portfolio?
Hi, Elsie. Good morning. Hi, everyone on this call. Good morning to all of you and the teachers and the principal as well.
I think this is a great platform and I'm very happy to be a part of it. Healthy, coming to your question, I must tell you that there are no challenges. We live in a gender equal world right now, so we're open to everything that we can do. I think I've been doing this for 6.5 years now, and ever since I completed my final year undergrad, I knew PR was something that I wanted to explore as a career. So my mind was set. But as I kept growing up the career ladder, the only challenge I saw was ageism. Because if you ever have to have someone older than you reporting onto you, that's a bit of a challenge. But apart from that, there's nothing else. Because like I said, we're in a gender equal society right now. And PR as a career itself, you have more women than men. And in the organization that I work with, I think we're about 70% women, 30% men. And so, yeah, that's definitely what it is. And PR is a great industry to be in because at a young age of 22, I was briefing CEOs of companies and telling them how they should be communicating to their audiences, how they should be communicating to the media and all of that. And I don't think in any other career at such a young age of 22, you will be given that opportunity. So that's pretty much what I'd like to add. Thank you.
Thank you, Mom.
Hi, I'm Kanishka, and my question is to Miss Tanjana. Who inspired you to become an actor, and how did you come into this career?
So hi everybody, it's wonderful to be here today morning, and it's great seeing some of my teachers who taught me and some of my seniors and all the ex-Michaelites. Thank you so much for having me. And firstly, so it wasn't a planned decision, it just happened by accident, I would say. But I knew from a very young age that I always wanted to perform and be on stage and, like being in front of the camera. So sort of took my shyness away because as a kid, I was a little shy. I was a very chatty and talkative kid, but I was also very shy at the same time. So that kind of, I think Michael's definitely nurtured me to, get over my fear of public speaking, made me very confident and, as someone said, my English and my grammar improved a lot, immensely. And so I always knew that I wanted to be a part of this field from a very young age. But then there were a lot of people telling me that, getting into the industry is unsafe for girls. I mean, I'm sure all of you must have heard about that, people saying it's very unsafe and you need to like safeguard yourself. But I knew that, I tried a lot of like different jobs. I did a desk job. I went to Hong Kong. I tried all of that. But I knew this was my calling. I knew that this is where I wanted to be and nothing else is going to make me happy. And initially, I started modeling at 7 years old. I think my mom was my inspiration, I would say, because she also is an actress herself. And I went to the sets with her, I accompanied her to the sets, and I loved just being there, the atmosphere and that whole ambience. I think that definitely, made me feel like, okay, this is where I want to be. This is like my happy place. So that's how it started. And then, life happened, it just progressed. And one thing after the other, I knew that after I finished all my other office jobs, I came back here and I'm like, okay, I've got the exposure, I've been abroad. Now it's time to like come here and do what I really love. And that's how it started. And, as a kid, I wasn't really into it because kids being kids, you want to play around, you want to goof around. And I didn't take it very seriously then. But as I grew up, I think in like my early 20s, I think that's when it really, really hit me and made me feel like I should do this for a lifetime.
Thank you, ma'am.
Greetings to all. I am Amika, and my first question goes to Miss Rinku Stephen. So tell us, Miss Stephen, why Michaels? I do know that he did not have a choice way back then, but what about St. Michael's makes it special?
Hey Amika, thanks for your question. Really honored to be here with the other ex-Michaelites and with the current Michaelites. Thanks to the teachers for the opportunity, right? Now going back to your question, I joined Michael's in my 7th standard. We had just moved in from Cochin, so my parents were looking for a school, and my dad's boss was like, "There's a school called Michael's in Adyar. It's really good. It's one of the best in Chennai." So that's how we got to know about Michael's, and I joined. So what makes Michael special? I think the first thing that makes Michael special is the wholesome development that we have. So anyone from my batch, at least I've seen, none of us are just studious people or anything, right? All of us are good in communication skills, presentation skills. All of us, most of us are, good in sports, and there's a very wholesome development that happens in Michael's. That is first thing. Second thing that makes Michael special is, of course, the people there, right? The friends that you make there, they make it amazing. And and of course the teachers, everyone that you meet in Michael's, they make it an amazing opportunity, right? You learn a lot from them. And some of my friends from Michael's I'm still in touch with them, and I still lean on them in any doubts or issues I have. I can still reach out to them. And I think the third thing that makes Michael special is the opportunity that we get there, right? I have not, after Michael, I've not seen any place which has the kind of cultural activities that we have, the sports activities that we have. I've not seen anything. So I think these are the three things that makes Michael's really special.
Thank you, Misty.
This question of mine is for Miss Sonalini Esther. So, Miss Sonalini, what, in your opinion, was the most rewarding thing about studying in such a prestigious institution as St. Michael's Academy?
Hi, good morning to everyone here, and thank you so much for the opportunity to be here with Michaelites and Ex-Michaelites. I think it is something of an honor for everyone to be able to go back to school and give back to school after school has given us so much. So, it's a real honor, and it's a real pleasure to be here today. So you asked me about the most rewarding thing about studying in St. Michael's. For me, there are lots. Okay, so there are lots of rewards to being in St. Michael's, but I would say the top ones would be confidence. The confidence to be yourself with people, to meet new people, to greet new people, to be with people, and at the same time, conviction to not lose yourself and lose your values, even amongst a different set of people. That is amazing. That's a great reward that I've picked up from St. Michael's. And another, really rewarding thing that I've experienced at St. Michael's is I agreed a lot with everyone. I especially Rinku kind of took the words out of my mouth. The wholesome and holistic development of people is amazing at St. Michael's. So like in school, you have competition, but not competition in the sense that you have competitions, but this is the most healthy competition that I've ever seen. Nobody's ever jealous about anyone. No one's ever bitter about losing. Yes, there is sadness and there's disappointment when you lose, but that should be there if you aim to win. So all of this confidence, conviction, competition, but without all the negativity. So these have been amazing. So what that fosters is that fosters you to be the best version of yourself, and give it your best. Like basically, do what you do well. That is that's a song actually we learned in school in music class. Do what you do well. Give your love and all of your heart, and do what you do well. So that is for me a pickup from St. Michael's.
Thank you, ma'am.
My question goes out to Miss Reshma Fatima. Good morning, Miss Fatima. SMA, having commenced your journey from being a Michaelite 26 years ago, can you go back? And if you had to describe SMA with a few striking adjectives, what would they be?
Good morning, Brother Thomas, teachers and fellow students. Thank you for having me here. I feel very honored to be a part of this panel. To begin with, Michael's is like my second home. I'm sure all of you also agree with me. I come from a very Islamic background, and my father always wanted to put us in a Muslim school and stuff like that. But at small age itself, I put my step down and I said, Michael's is where I belong. And till now, there are a lot of decisions we have taken in life. We are all regret, but Michael's is one of the decisions which I'll never regret in my life, because Michael's has taught us so much to begin with, because it's not just academics what we learn in Michael's, It's a huge platform for cultural, sports, anything you say. We can explore our stuff and everything, and we always have healthy competition. There's no enmity or jealousy going around. And not only just students, if you think teachers, the staffs, the brothers, everyone used to make us feel at home. It's like a dream come true being in Michael's for me. And till date, it's like a huge backbone. And whatever I do till now is because of Michael's. I think Michael's molds us to the person who we are at present life.
Thank you, Ms. Deepa.
Sir, you seem to have a finger in every pie, right from writing books on cookery, hotels, fitness, etc. Did you get time to spare for your family? Or in other words, how did you juggle both your personal and professional life?
Is that for me? Is that my question?
Yes, yes,
Yes, sir.
Mr. Vikram.
Okay. The balance in life is very important, I feel. You have only one life. You can't actually split life into a professional life and into a family life. So always I've led one life, and I've led it to my fullest zest, whatever I have been doing. And luckily enough, I met my wife also in the hotels. So when we were working together, we fell in love and we got married. So she understands hotel jobs are very, very long hours. We spend long hours at work, and it is also quite stressful. So she understands that. And I also travel a lot. I've also traveled to almost 45 to 50 countries in 5 continents, and she has accompanied me on most of those travels. So that way we have been able to live life together. Plus, I've been able to also live a very fulfilling professional life.
That's great, sir. Thank you so much.
Sir, you have also redesigned the outdoor training manual for the Tamil Nadu police. What was the reason for doing the same?
Yeah, thanks, Laurel, again. First of all, I must say what a name you have with full of laurels, I really appreciate. And I must thank Amelia, who brought from Dr. Radhakrishnan, sir, very important aspect. He said, magical metamorphosis. That's what Michael's is about. The triple M's that you can talk about. Magical metamorphosis is fantastic, Dr. Radhakrishnan. I think you brought it out very nicely when she gave you the challenge of one word. Wow, fantastic. I like it. See, what I see here, beautiful plethora of various professions brought in, and fantastic. That's what St. Michael's is all about. We are all not about that individual, we achieve something, that all of us are in various positions unique to what the school has designed us. Now, coming back again, your question, Laurel, again. Lauren, your question again. Why is this academy?
Yes, sir. You redesigned the outdoor training manual for the Tamil Nadu police.
Fantastic. The 1968 was the last time that the police had changed their manual for training. Imagine what the Britishers did. And what we used to do in schools as drill, till date they are doing as exercise. So with my knowledge on sports and medicine, I was asked to redo this manual, and I had designed what was there happening in the US and various other martial forms that I had learned. I made it so strong that this can be a fantastic way of training our police personnel. So this happened when I was called into this police academy, given this opportunity, and say redesign it. And I had to work with them as well as the OTA, Officers Training Academy, which is, as a sports doctor, I could advise them on the requirement for those people, where women were getting fractured on the pelvic bone because they're going to be stamping their feet at standard ease and attention and march. All this were happening. So this was a beautiful opportunity to set our name there. So St. Michael steps in there also and says, yeah, we have gone there to the to the police academy and any policeman who comes out of that, irrespective of that, we have contributed somewhere, someplace. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Sir, at what point of time did you decide your career? Please share your thoughts with us because this has and has always been a challenging decision making point in one's life.
Okay. Somewhere during middle school, I realized that I was fascinated by bikes and cars. Although at that point of time, I didn't know that I was going to go into much finer details because the vehicle assets is different, engine assets is different. So by the time I finished school, I was very clear that I was going to do engineering, even though I was, I was offered various suggestions by my own family to do this or do that or whatever, but I was pretty clear that I was going to do engineering. So I took up mechanical rather than automobile. And then when I completed my undergraduate, I realized that, okay, the engine is where my heart lay. So I decided that I would try to focus my thoughts or focus a career with internal combustion engines, and that's how I landed up at IIT Madras with my post-graduation. And it started taking its own course after that. I joined the company again, which is a core company, Renault Nissan, so engine related or automobile related. There too, fortunately, I was working with the core subject, engines itself. And yeah, so then I quit the job and joined PhD again.
Marvelous. Simply superb. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
My question is to Mr. Vikram Ravi Ramanathan. Which group did you take after 10th grade and in college? Do those decisions define our lives? Because it feels as though those are the make or break points of our lives.
Thank you. So when I finished my 10th, the subject I got the most marks was biology. So I got 99 out of 100 in biology, and I was the topper in school. So, and I also used to like draw a lot of diagrams and so on. So at that point, I just thought that, you know what, biology is my thing, and you know, I'm going to become a doctor, right? And I even remember how I made this decision. I was with my friend, a person called Abhinav Matthew, and we were just going on a cycle tour, and I just told him I got, you know, biology la samaya panten, so I'm going to become a doctor, right? But then I realized in 11th and 12th that firstly, I was a little bit scared of blood and that, you know, it was just not for me. In fact, in 12th standard, I got the lowest mark in biology. I got, I don't know, the lowest comparing everything else, because everything else I did pretty well. And then after that, you know, like most of us, you know, I just took engineering and, you know, but the point I'm trying to make is you don't need to put so much pressure on yourself. It's fine if you know, are not sure of you know, which group to take. If you are, like, you know, for example, if you know you want to become a lawyer, for sure, you know, take, you know, that department or whatever. If you're not, it's okay to kind of make mistakes along the way and so on. Because I know so many others in my class who've taken the wrong batch and then figure things out later. You don't need to take so much pressure at this point, like jolly are in the school time. Oh.
Thank you, sir. That was really helpful.
Shooting a question to Miss Anna Isaac. Miss Anna, how do you think the COVID-19 situation has affected your field, and what were the outcomes?
Definitely, COVID has had an effect on, you know, way people are working. Most obviously, I think everybody's working at home. Hours are much longer. When I was working for the American firm, we worked on American times. So though we work Monday to Friday, we don't work on the weekends. I did go in at about 1 in the afternoon, and I was there at office till about 9 at night. So we do work facing our clients. Now, because we're at home and everybody thinks like, you know, there's no pressure to go back home at any such time, everybody's a bit more relaxed, and you find that your work and your home life is sort of bleeding into each other. I would say that is one very practical aspect of how work life gets affected by COVID. On the other hand, you do see that our clients don't have that many research projects. especially if you're doing primary research. I know that there are certain companies that just don't have the clients anymore. Nobody has that money to be able to fund the research. So in some cases, you are finding researchers in firms like AC Nielsen, maybe even Ernst, and certain departments of certain companies which are not able to hold on to their staff anymore. There's just no demand for work. So in that case, I would suggest that take this time off and do things that would help you. So do a programming course, learn something in a field that you're interested in. Just because this is a tough time, it doesn't mean that you can't get something out of it. Yeah, that's my two bit.
Thank you very much, ma'am.
Welcome.
This question goes to Joseph Daniel, sir. Sir, you've excelled both in sports and academics. So, can you guide us on having both our co curricular activities as well as our academics on a balanced ratio?
Good question, Deborah. I think one of the things that differentiates Michaelites to the rest of the world is how rounded the Michaelites are in terms of every aspect, facets of life skills, right? So for me, sports has been an integral part of my life journey. For me, folks, how do you balance between sports and studies? It's all about compartmentalizing it, right? And a regular schedule. And if you look at it, it is not something that I planned for. The institution gave it to me. There was a necessity for me to be at 6:50 in the ground, or sometimes even 6:30, I think, in the morning. So we used to go to the ground every day like clockwork, do the exercises, do the net practice, then be on time for assembly, right? So there was a regime to it. And even after school, we used to have a sports practice from 2 to 3 in those times. So there was a routine, and then you go back home and then you start studying, revising a little bit. It's all about compartmentally. So when you're and on the field, you are practicing, you focus only on that. You don't think about your exam that's there in an hour from now. And then when you're in class, you're not thinking about sports, but you're focused on the class. So if you can compartmentalize and you can have a regime, and regime over a period of time, that's when you start to improve. So you may it doesn't happen overnight. There's no like nowadays everything can happen in an instant. You want everything in an instant. Magic doesn't happen in an instant. It has to be over a period of time, years and years of going through the same thing again and again, and that's what brings you fluency. If you look at the IPL, if you follow the IPL, you see Sanju Samsung is hitting the ball so well now in this IPL. He played 20,000 balls in the lockdown period, just practicing the same stroke again and again. So it's all about that. Be it studies, the familiarity, writing down your answers, go revising it to be familiar with the concepts. In cricket or in tennis, you keep practicing the stroke repeatedly so that you become a master. Even unconsciously, you start to your footwork and your handwork happens. So it's all about the schedule and the regime that you follow. And I think Michael's has given me, not by me wanting it, but by the design of the institution. And you just flow into that, you allow yourself to be molded and not resist it too much, right? And then the outcome is automatic. So it's kind of a formula. You feed in some parameters, you get an output. Michael's is like that function. So you are the input. You just go through that function and then you have an output. So I would say it's a matter of compartmentalizing and having a regular schedule and the discipline to keep that schedule. I think that is what is key at least in my experience. And yeah, I would recommend that to you guys as well.
Thank you, sir. That was really informative.
Dr. Varsha, how has St. Michael's Academy attributed to the person you are today?
Yeah, St. Michael's has actually molded me in so many ways. Like, say, academically, I was initially itself I was quite studious. I used to study a lot. So one thing that I always wanted to do was when I saw people around me when I was a kid, I could see that life is not fair to everyone. There are so many poor people outside, and why don't they get opportunities like us? So I was always like, why is there so much sorrow in this world? So I really wanted to do something about that. And one of the things was, maybe if I could be a doctor, I could do something about it. So, and because of the constant encouragement and support of teachers, and especially my mother, who has been like the driving force, I was able to get into a medical college, which is one of the best in Asia, I should say. But it is very difficult. Not everybody can get it, but by God's grace and hard work and support of so many people around, I was able to do it. Not only that, like though I was pretty shy. I was an introvert in my school days. I wouldn't talk much. So, but my teachers have picked me out like, okay, you can play volleyball. I did not know that I could. And they did recognize that, okay, you can sing. So I was part of a choir. So they really like saw the talent in me, and then made me go for it. So it was, being a teacher is one of the most difficult jobs in the world, I should say. So, each child is different. See, a person who is outspoken may be able to do everything confidently, but there are many children like myself who are introverts actually. So you really have to bring them out. So that is one thing. And one of the major things that has really affected me in school is the thing that they teach about values in life. It's not only about just academics and extracurricular. It's about values in life. Finally, what matters is what a good human being you are, and that is what they teach. Like my daughter is studying in this school. So last year she got this badge for obedience. So I've never seen any school give a badge for obedience or goodness or truth or honesty. So this is something that is so unique in St. Michael's. I don't think anywhere else it is done, and it is done till today. And I'm like so impressed by it. So finally, whatever achievements you are, it all starts from where you are. We start off with a higher standard. We start off with a good grade, the great school, but there are people who don't have that, and there are gender inequalities everywhere. So not everybody gets equal opportunities, but in St. Michael's, every person is treated equally. Every person is given that opportunity. So I was given that opportunity, and by God's grace and with a lot of support from so many people, I was able to do something in my life which I like to do, and I love to do. So, and I hope I'll be able to do more as well. Yeah. Thank you for the question. Thank you, and it's a great opportunity to be here, and I really thank you for giving this. It's a great platform, meeting so many wonderful, accomplished people, and whatever you guys are saying, it's just like brings back so many good memories to me. So it's really like awesome. And the Tamana is like so sweet and confident, and all of you children are so confident and so vocal. It's so inspiring to see that kids today are like this. And it's because of the school, the school, the teachers, the IMRs, the our security staff who I meet every day when I drop my daughter to school. So each and every person is so full of warmth in this school. So that is something that no other school is like. It's just so special to me. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Varsha. Even I equally agree with you about our school.
Shooting a question to Dr. Varun. Dr. Varun, what role has your schooling in St. Michael's Academy played in choosing medicine as your profession? Was it similar to Dr. Varsha's story, or were you also a topper like Mr. Vikram Ravi?
Okay, yeah. Thank you for the question. So I have always wanted to become a doctor when I was young. I mean, like, say way back when I was like 3, 4 years old, because my aunt was a doctor and she inspired me to become a doctor. Yeah, coming to being topper, I wasn't that good in academics at all in school. I was just average student. Uh, so yeah, so I would say when 11th and 12th, yeah, I really wanted to become a doctor, and that's how our school really helped. Say like in other, like, what do you say, like in academics and like teaching, everything it just helps. Not just academics, but I would say even in college we had this culturals, and I would give so many ideas from our school events, and that also made that also what the school helped me. Yeah, that's how it is. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Varun.
Question to Mr. Rohan. Apart from getting trained in a flight simulator, how did it feel to fly a plane for the first time?
Okay, so I think there's this common misconception that training to be a pilot, you first train on a simulator and then on an actual aircraft. That's wrong. I mean, most of us, in fact, start off on an actual aircraft. I mean, of course, we have a simulator, we have an instructor next to us. So yes, it's something very different, and it's not as comfortable as traveling on a jetliner as a passenger. You're probably sweating if it's midday, and more often than not, people get airsick on their first flight. So about half an hour into your first flight, you're probably waiting to get back down. But the first time you lift off, that's something really surreal. And more than your first flight, I think it's your first solo when you go up in the air all by yourself, limited to whatever you're capable of. I think that's probably much, much bigger than what your first flight actually is.
Thank you for your answer, sir.
This next question of mine is for Dr. Radhakrishnan. So I think mostly all Michaelites would have one spot to call their favorite spot at St. Michael's Academy. So doctor, which spot at school was your favorite and what makes that particular spot so special?
Uh, yeah, to be precise, like ever since like maybe till sixth or seventh grade, I used to participate apart from my studies, and I used to participate in sports. In fact, like to me, the favorite spot would be my playground, and I used to play football. So I always used to like even before like the class, the we used to have the physical training PT periods. Like before that, the even before the period could start, we used to take like 5 or 10 minutes the previous period, and we used to get ready. Everything happens below the desk. I still remember because we used to wear the boots and everything. So the moment when the bell rings, we don't want to waste even 1 minute of like changing into the boots and stuff. So we were like so I was like so into it, like like I just cherish those moments. Like so I always wanted to like like to be a like when I was little, I wanted to be a football player. But yeah, like maybe after like sixth or seventh grade, like that slowly the changes happen in my life, and trying to be more focused. Yeah, that I would say like the favorite spot till today is like the playground, which I always want to go. And I wish I had time now. I really do wish. Thank you.
Thank you, doctor.
My next question is to Miss Ashwati. So, what were your feelings when you had to come in front of the court for the first time as an advocate? And what was it like to appear inside the court and fight for your case alongside with your team?
Okay, so I think the first time I did appear itself was for a very big case, and it was representing 5,000 employees for a Southern India company. So when you are representing that many people, a lot is at stake and there is a lot of burden on your shoulders. So constantly, even when you're arguing in front of the court, you're thinking about their jobs, you're thinking about, okay, if I lose this case, then 5,000 people are not going to have a job. So it was a lot of pressure, but at the same time, I think the entire experience is extremely overwhelming in the sense that the judges are experts and they are actually waiting to listen to your arguments. So there is a lot of prep that goes behind each and every case, and it's not as simple as it seems. So for this particular case, I'd been working on for a month, and because it was a very niche area, it had to be interpreted in ways that wasn't looked at before. And it is one of the landmark judgments, and it's going to be heard before the Supreme Court. But now, since I've shifted base and I've jumped to academics, I won't be part of the case, but I'm very eager to see how the case is decided, because ultimately it's jobs and lives at stake, and it's a huge burden on every single advocate appearing on behalf of their clients. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Miss Ashwati.
The next question is to Mr. Ayush. Now, sir, in the years following your school graduation, You participated in various MUNs and public speaking competitions. Can you tell us, sir, what motivated you to choose this field?
Okay, this is going to be a fairly interesting answer. So the fact is, when I was in school, I was predominantly very active in the public speaking sphere. I've been doing public speaking since I think kindergarten, so it's always been there. Always been an activity that's go to. Okay, why specifically Model UN in college? The fact is, college is very different from school. Like at St. Michael's, like as everybody has mentioned so far, there is a lot of opportunity and encouragement for extracurriculars, be it culturals, be it sports. But it's not really the same in college. You're going to have to, fight with the system to get some opportunity and get yourself out there. And the only available track at that point in time, which was fairly easy to get to, was Model UN. And I'd never done Model UN in my life at that point in time. I was aware of what debating is. I could speak in front of a crowd, but never have I had to put in so much prep in terms of coming out with like a polished analysis of what an issue is, or essentially role playing a diplomat. So since that was an opportunity that was available, I figured why not? It involves public speaking anyway, which is what I'm interested in. So that's how I jumped in. But yeah, it did end up to be a very fulfilling uh, opportunity and a fulfilling hobby, if I may say, during the entirety of my undergraduate program. I ended up also going to Oxford University and National University of Singapore as a judge for some of these conferences. So yeah.
Well, thank you so much, Mr. Ayush.
My next question goes to Miss Nina Justin. Dear Mom, I was very curious to understand through your profile that you are a very adventurous person who at least travel once a year on an international trip. So now let me put you through a situation to know how well you manage it. You have been asked to attend an important conference in an island, followed by an expensive personal trip, and so you are very excited to be a part of this trip. But while checking in the airport, you find that you have left your passport at home and now you have a very few couple of hours before boarding. So, how well do you manage this situation where it is a non refundable trip?
Thanks, Halsey, for that question. In fact, coincidentally, I nearly missed a flight once. I was working till I think about 9:30, and I had to head to the airport by about 10:30 or so. But then I think if not for my parents and how they like literally scrambled to put my bag together, I don't think I would have made it on that trip. So I think now for this thing, I left it definitely attributed to my parents because I'm sure they'll wait outside the airport until my flight takes off to make sure that everything happens without a hitch. Because they're so used to things like this happening. I'm always late for flights. I'm literally like running through boarding to the security every single time I have to board a flight. For some reason, I'm very organized about everything else, but this is something I can never, make it on time. So to answer your question, I think if this ever would happen to me, I'm sure my father will be sitting right outside the airport with my passport, anticipating that something like this will happen and, waiting to, hand it over. So yeah, that's definitely what I'd like to say about this.
Thank you for your interesting answer, Mom.
I'm not able to hear you.
Kanishka, you're not audible.
Yeah. Kanishka?
Try again, Kanishka.
Kanishka? Unmute. Kanishka, unmute yourself, ma.
Try again, Kanishka, please.
Kanishka, you are muted. That's it. Yeah. Speak, child. Speak, mama.
Okay. My question to Ms. Sanjana. So, you played many characters in several movies. Of all the roles that you have played, which one is your favorite and which role did you find difficult to play?
That's a tough one because all of them have been pretty challenging till now. But recently, I love playing my Amazon web series. I did a web series for Amazon Prime, and I played an Anglo-Indian girl called Hannah. And that was pretty tough because she's an OCD type of person, and she's a singer. And I have to thank Michaels for that because I literally took part in every cultural event, be it dance, be it singing. Even though I'm an awful singer, like I'm a bathroom singer, I can't sing at all. I still wanted to take part in culturals, be a part of the choir, and definitely like be like on stage or doing everything, even though I was bad at it. So I think this character was pretty funny and it was also challenging at the same time because it's a sitcom. This whole series is like a sitcom, and I think comedy is a very difficult genre to play compared to the other genres. And because your timing has to be perfect, and you have to be spontaneous, and you have to be effortlessly funny, and it's very difficult to act artificial. When you're trying to be funny. So I think if you're not going to convince the audience, and convince them, okay, that you're this character, then I don't think your web series or your movie, anything is going to be a hit. And I definitely have a lot of credit to give Michaels, because I saw that potential in me, that acting potential in me, and that's exactly why I wanted to do this. And secondly, I have an upcoming project where I'm going to be a drums player, and I've not played drums in my life either. So I think that again is going to be like a very challenging project. I'm very excited for it. So yeah, hoping that happens soon.
Thank you, ma'am.
Miss Stephen, which subject do you like in school? And what about said subject fascinated you or drew your interest?
So hey Amika, thanks for the question. So contrary to what many people said, I actually enjoyed computer science and the entire physics, chemistry, science as a group itself. I knew I wanted to do something to do with computers because around like third standard is when I got my first computer. I enjoyed messing around with it, seeing how it works, and then later I got introduced to this law of cartoons, which kind of opened the possibilities that computers can do much more than what we are capable of doing, right? So I think when I was in my 10th standard, I had to choose between computer science or biology group. The answer was pretty straightforward. It was computer science. I went on to do computer science and engineering. I worked as a software engineer, and then I did my MBA and I over there also I took up software management, and currently I am working in a tech role where I'm trying to use computers, right, to solve for customers and business goals. So I think for me it was computers all the way.
Thank you so much for your thoughts, ma'am.
Thank you.
My next question is for Miss Sonalini Esther. Miss Sonalini, you have won 2 Entrepreneur of the Year awards. What role do you think St. Michael's Academy has played in shaping you into such a successful person?
Okay, so like I already mentioned, Michael's kind of molded me into the person I am. And the main thing being, whatever I do, I do it the best. The best to my ability, the best to my capability. And you mentioned that I won those 2 awards, but both those awards were won this year. But there's 9 years of hard work where I was being the best I could be, the best work I could do. I was doing the best work I could do, and I was putting in a lot of hard work behind those 9 years. And to me, each and every project that closed in those 9 years are just as successful, even if they've not particularly been recognized to contribute to the award. Okay, so for me, I would say that success is not necessarily measured for me by those awards, but Michael's has shown me that just doing the best I could do is a success in itself. So this is something I really want to address the girls, and I really want to address the women. You don't have to have these measures to recognize success. You can be the best you can be. You can be the best homemaker, you can be the best home baker, you can be the best home gardener. You don't have to be out there winning awards to prove you're successful. They will come, okay, or they may not come, but they are not a measure of your success. And that acceptance and that understanding is something that Michael's has largely imbibed in me. So that's what it is.
Thank you, ma'am. That was very inspiring.
Mrs. Fatima, which part of school did you enjoy the most? Elementary, middle, or high school section? And why?
Hi, Amika. Thanks for the question. Michael's, I think throughout we can't categorize middle school or kindergarten or high school. I think throughout it was like a journey. every phase of life you go through certain things and you enjoy few things and you don't enjoy few things. So Michael's is like a journey. So when you're a kid, you have to be a kid. When you're in the middle school, you have to go through what you have to go through in a middle school. And when you're in a high school, you have to deal with board exams and everything. So it's nothing like a particular period of my time. But if you say I honestly enjoyed my 8th, 9th, 10th, that phase of life where we are in middle. We don't need to be serious as well as we don't need to be playful. I think that was my best part of my life, like taking part in culturals and everything. That carefree life, I really enjoyed.
Thank you so much, Mrs. Patil.
My next question is to Mr. Vikram Kota. It's to you, sir. Does your daughter, Ramya Kota, who's also an ex-Michaelite, the head girl, and the state first rank holder in her 10th standard, nurture the same passion regarding the hospitality industry as you do, sir?
Yes, fortunately, Ramya followed my footsteps in choosing the same school. So she was there throughout her schooling in St. Michael's, and she brought laurels to the Michaels. I was very proud of that. She was the head girl, and she got state rank, which I think the record is not yet broken, and I hope it's broken soon. She got the first mark in the 10th standard. She had the same flair for academics as well as sports because St. Michael's gave that opportunity. She played district football, and she also developed a passion for hoteliering because she used to travel with us into different hotels, and she was always running across lobbies where I was working. And from 7th standard itself, she wanted to become a hotelier. So she joined hotel management in Manipal. She completed 4 years. And now she's completed a management trainee program in Taj Hotels. And she's looking forward to going to the States to do her MBA now. So I believe that she has been inspired by me. Thank you.
That's inspiring. Thank you so much, sir.
My next question goes to Dr. Kannan Pugalendi. Sir, you started the unique dance medicine. How did you notice the necessity of dance in medicine?
I think we feel that medicine is only going to work with people who are injured or who have a problem. The whole idea of sports medicine is to keep the healthy population healthy through exercise. So when it comes to a dancer or a martial artist or a sportsman, the most important aspect to keep them healthy and the best of their capacity to achieve the results. So exercise prescription is the key element to make sure that they are able to achieve those goals without any hindrance. So my work is mainly in that sector, whether it is an athlete or a dancer or a martial artist or any other field or general fitness. Prescribing exercise, unlike most of the doctors who prescribe medicine or surgery, I'm a guy who prescribes exercise. Again, basis St. Michael's. So I started there and I realized how exercise has gone into my head so deep that I never threw it away. So even with the dancers' work, a lot of things that I was able to do when I worked with Leela Sampson, who's a phenomenal dancer herself. So I had the opportunity to work with their dancers in Delhi when I was visiting Delhi. And Nitya Gram in Bangalore, where they teach Odissi, I've worked with them. And similarly, a lot of these dancers who come with unique problems, Bharatanatyam or Odissi or Kuchipudi or name it, Tangata or Manipuri, name the dance. All the dance have their own unique demands. Those demands have to be met, understanding the dance. And so I've been able to do this. With the Kalakshetra, I've even designed a program for dancers who don't make the cut as professional dancers to be involved with dancers as dance trainers. They can be trainers who work with the not with the dance itself, but how to enhance the dance or prevent injuries. So this is my work, and I feel this can happen only when you have a school like St. Michael's giving you various aspects of a human life. Otherwise, we'll be only with academics and we are very good at only one thing. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Now I shoot my next question to Mr. Sudarshan. We are aware that you are pursuing your PhD degree, that is the doctorate degree, and we are equally aware that pursuing a PhD is not a cakewalk. So, sir, kindly do share with us how.
Okay, I think I know what you asked because in the end it got cut. Am I audible now?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
So, shall I repeat my question?
Yes, please.
We are aware that you are pursuing your PhD degree, and we are equally aware that pursuing a PhD is not a cakewalk. So, sir, kindly do share with us how you managed to take this up and what was your motivation?
Okay, first off, my motivation for PhD came about frankly because I wanted to get things like that. You have to have a PhD degree. So the motivation for PhD is quite frankly that and that alone. On the other hand, for management of time or stress, frankly, at times I do get worked up a lot. That is in my nature, first off, and I'm a very impatient person. So there are times when things will not go your way, or you will have a lot of setbacks or dead blocks coming your way when you're doing something like a PhD. So it does get me worked up. My way to get it off, the first choice I have is come back home and spend time with family, because the moment I kind of have two modes, so to speak. One is the work mode and the other is the family mode. So the moment I get out of the gates of IIT, I just tune off, irrespective of what has happened. Most of the times it works. So, and as I enter home, when I see my wife or kids, it's kind of a stress buster, because you will be forced to anyway turn off whatever you've been thinking of, because you have to attend to them in the first place. And secondly, when you're with the kids, it's kind of a stress buster in an amazing way. So the children kind of show you a joy of actually living life in that moment. So the moment that happens, I kind of forget what I've been through, all the bad things or stress or whatever that I've been through, and I kind of start enjoying. So that actually helps me recharge for another day of work there. Whatever may come, I will handle it next. And incidentally, one other factor that has helped me is my sister, who also happens to be an ex-Michaelite. She has this theory of cross the bridge when it comes. So as long as that day is handled, it's fine. Whatever comes next day, we'll handle it next. So that's what I keep following.
Just amazing and thought-provoking, sir. Thank you.
My question is directed to Mr. Vikram Ravi. Sir, your aunt, Dr. Sumati Narayan, runs CCMC, and your father, Mr. Ravi Ramanathan, runs a public speaking institute. Do you think extracurricular activities and how much importance does it have when compared to studies?
So my aunt, runs CCMC, and my dad does, runs a public speaking institute, which was started by my granddad in the 1970s. So what's interesting about extracurricular activities for me is that, it's something that you need to carry on for the rest of your lives. So I actually gave a talk last year or year before in front of an audience, over 300, very senior people across the country. And I actually gave a talk on how the title of the talk was Mowgli Rediscovers His Mojo. So in school, in 5th grade, I had an opportunity to play Mowgli on stage, on the same stage a lot of you would have seen. And I think that kind of defined a lot of what I am. So But after school, I think someone else also mentioned, like we stopped getting these kind of opportunities to do things. But recently I actually picked up an instrument as an extracurricular activity. And even now at work, I'm kind of doing an extracurricular activity, right? So the point I'm trying to make is that I don't think you need to compare the both studies, extracurricular. If you are someone who's a specialist, do that. Like if you're a sports specialist, if you're whatever specialist, do that. But if you are a generalist like me, and a lot of us are generalists, I would say just do the best at whatever you're doing. Like someone else said, compartmentalize things around, and you'll be totally fine. But yeah, totally do some extracurricular activity. That is, whether it's sports, whether it's culturals, whatever, do something.
Thank you so much, sir.
A question for Miss Anna Isaac. This is kind of like a personal question too, as it adheres to like our grade 12 students. So, Miss Anna, you'd been the team lead at R.R. Donnelly till 2017, and that must have been really stressful. Being a 12th grader myself, I am compelled to ask you how to deal with stress and be calm under pressure.
Okay, so as much as I'm giving this advice, it's sometimes a bit hard to follow. I think what is really helpful is having a plan. So have your plan ideally the previous day. So if tomorrow I have so many things I want to do, I make the plan ahead of time, the previous day. And then it's not enough to make a plan. I also try to be really specific about what I am going to do for each item in that plan. So what happens is then I have a clear idea of how I want the day to go. But that's only half the equation, right? The other part is facing unexpected setbacks. And setbacks are a part and parcel of life. You can't say, oh, there's a spanner in my plans. I can't do anything. I'm losing my head. Take a step. Believe in yourself. You can do this. You guys are Michaelites. Take a moment and say, this is what I'm going to do to rework what's happening. And I can do this. And thirdly, I think is one very important aspect that you can do is sort of like keep yourself accountable, especially in terms of time. So I'm going to work for 15 minutes. I'll take a 5-minute break. I'll do another 15 minutes. I'll take a 5-minute break. But when I'm working for that 15 minutes, nothing is going to distract me during that time. Everything can wait for that 5 minutes later. So I'm getting these sort of productive spurts in between. And that keeps me sort of going on, and I'm getting things knocked off my list. So I would personally tackle it that way. But I'm sure everybody has their own way, something that works for them. So maybe take a leaf if it makes sense to you, but definitely try to do something that works best for you.
Thank you so very much, ma'am. I will take that into consideration.
Thank you.
This question goes to Joseph Daniel, sir. Sir, what do you think about 90s parenting and 2K's parenting? What huge difference do you see?
Thanks, Deborah, for that question. I'm not sure. It's a trick question, right? Yeah, indeed. There is a big difference between we talk about the 90s and the 2K. The world is not what it was when I was in school. What you go through is very different from what we went through. But the parents also are a bit more, what do you call, helicopter parents, you call them nowadays. They're always hovering around above your head. They're always worried what might happen to my kid. They're always checking for you. They're always pushing you to go the extra mile. And I think the parents, the 90s parents, aren't the ones who did something wrong. Huh? So they were also looking after us. They gave us a lot of freedom. They let us fall down. They let us pick ourselves up on our own, and they also had ambitions for us. But the style in which the 90s parents manage and the 2000 2K parents manage is very contrastingly different. So it both has its pros and cons. Let's not go into that. I wouldn't want to be the judge of which is a better style of or not. But then what I would say is combine that into an institution like St. Michael's and the teachers. My mom was also a teacher in St. Michael's, Mrs. Daniels. She was a PT teacher. What they inculcate as values, I think that kind of overrides also what your parents would, your upbringing, uh, gets you to, and that is the molding part of what the institution does to you, what the teachers and the principal, the values they stand for, right. So that, I think that kind of uh, becomes the foundation. Of course, your parents are a key, what they, how they manage you and what they tell you does become what you become, because that's what you hold on to as your conditioning. And a childhood conditioning is the key, because those are formative years. But I would say, irrespective of what the 2K or 90s parents are, the molding the teachers and the principal does to you, I think that is something that hasn't changed much in Michael's, be it my time or be it your time. The values haven't changed, and if you go back into the world, um, the values still remain. It may become fast paced, there may be a lot of gadgets, there might be a lot of monitoring that happens. Now the world has become smaller, you can just connect over the call like this, sitting at home. But still the values, the best obedient child award, right, those kind of things, they don't change. So I think those are fundamental, and they make a big difference in the society. And I think Michael's, the being studying in Michael's, you have a advantage, so make use of that. Yeah, thanks, Deborah.
Thank you so much, sir.
This question is for Dr. Varsha. You have had the privilege of doing both your undergraduation and post graduation at CMC Vellore, which is considered to be one of the most reputed colleges in Asia. Would you like to throw some light on your college?
Yeah, this I've truly had the privilege, and I've been fortunate to get into CMC Vellore. It was actually started by Dr. Ida Scurrer nearly about 100 years back, and it was started for women basically. How it started off was that when she had come as a missionary in Vellore, there were three pregnant women who died because there was no female gynecologist to help her during the delivery. So that is how it started, and it started like a very humble beginning, and now it is one of the best colleges. And it is only because of the essence of the college is that each person has the right to get equal treatment, which is very difficult nowadays because there is so many financial constraints, and like I already told you, life is just not fair for everyone. But the treatment is the same. So if you need to give the same kind of treatment for a paying patient and a free patient, the system has to be like that. So in CMC, the system is such that the money is transferred from the paying side into the free side. So these sort of system has to be developed, and which was developed in CMC fortunately, and there are a few other hospitals as well who are following this. So wherein doctors can do, we can only provide our skill, our whatever knowledge that we have, but the rest of it, the financial things that go to the staff or the beds, the charges, that has to be taken care somehow. So that system is, I think, is yet to happen in many hospitals, but I think we are getting there. And I have actually imbibed most of the things by being in CMC Vellore, in the sense that hard work and dedication is something that's needed for anything, and especially in every field. And if you are a doctor, you will, as many of us know, you will have to give up some of your sleep, some of your hobbies, and you will have to. But what you get in return is so much more, because at the end of the day, what would you like? You want your patient to be happy. They're like, okay, we are better, we are free of this. So that's what keeps you happy. So I have received so much from so many people, my patients, my my teachers, my professors who have taught me whatever I know. I have received so much from it, including our teachers, our parents, and we need to give something. Whatever we receive, something we have to give to the world. So this is what I have imbibed in, and a lot of other things is that life will be hard. You will break down. You will have a lot of failures in life. There will be people who tell you can't do it, but you can do it. How is one? For me, you trust in the Lord. If people trust you and come, right, they trust you for whatever it is, whatever specialty you're in whichever field, they trust you and comes, you do your best, and the rest is up to God only. What can we do? That's in our hands. Is it's that much. That is one. And never give up. Never give up. Just try again. Whatever situation you're in, you just have to try again. You can't give up. So resilience is one of the most important things. So hard work, resilience, and knowledge is again something that you have to read. You have to read every day. You have to keep yourself updated. So as a doctor, it's I have not finished my specialization and that's it. I read even today. I read yesterday for my patients. So if I see a tumor, that might be one rare tumor which nobody knows. But then you have to go through the literature, find out what's new. So we really have to keep up with time and care for each other basically. So take time to listen to patients or listen to people. Just try to be a better. I mean, whatever you can do best. That's all. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Dr. Varsha. It was really inspiring.
This question goes to Dr. Varun. Dr. Varun, what do you miss the most about our school? And is it our school canteen biryani?
What do I miss the most is what you asked. Okay. Uh, Overall, I miss the school very much. I miss the culturals. I miss the teachers, my friends. I mean, like I still have I'm in contact with my friends, but the canteen, yeah, the canteen now. I've seen the canteen now, but previously the canteen wasn't like this. It was like we were all very crowded, and we used to when it's a lunch break, it was like very crowded, and we just go in, get the samosas, whatever we could get it, and we'll just come back out like we'll like sweat out, and we'll just come back, and yeah, I've missed so much from school. Yeah, sports mainly, yes, the athletics. I haven't seen any school conduct sports day like how our school conducts. So yeah, I miss everything from our school, which yeah, that would be it. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Rata.
The next question is to Mr. Rohan. Watching an episode called Aircraft Investigation, I have learned a lot about mechanical failures that take place. As a pilot, how scared are you that a mishap like that might happen?
Okay, so I mean, I think everyone's scared when they're a passenger, but I think once you start learning about what the aircraft's capable, and I think all that fear goes away because on an aircraft like the A320, which we fly, your controls are mostly electronically controlled and hydraulically actuated. You know what I mean? So, and there are 7 computers on board. So, and each computer acts as a redundancy for another. So, your day can never get as bad as all the 7 computers failing on the same day. So I think there's nothing to be worried about. In fact, there is actually nothing to be worried about, and something like that has never happened on an A320, for instance, which has been flying for about 30 years now. So yeah.
Thank you. That instilled a
Thank
lot of
you.
confidence in me.
You're welcome.
My next question is for Dr. Radha Krishnan. So, Doctor, if you had a chance to relive one academic year of your school life, which year would it be? And what is so special about that particular year?
Yeah. Uh, if you ask me, I wish like I can spend one more year that could be like anything because to be frank, I enjoyed like right from my kindergarten, from my till my 12th grade. So and every year was like very different. So it was not like you repeat the same whatever your sports or academics. Everything was like way too different. So I can't just point out just 1 year, like, I can just, I wish I had one more. On the whole, like, I do wish, like, I could have spent much more, though I spent nearly 14 years. I wish I could have spent some more time, but, life changes and it must go on. So I miss, like, on the whole, like, I loved everything, all 14 years. And I really can't, corner myself saying that it's 1 year, which I can do it. Yeah.
Thank you, Doctor.
So my next question is to Ms. Ashwati. So even though the Indian law system and the English law system have a lot of similarities, considering that we were ruled by the British people, so in your opinion, which legal system is the best, the Indian or the English legal system, or do you have any other options in mind?
Okay, I think this question stems from the fact that I did my post-graduation in University College London, and I had the opportunity to study the English law as well. To be very honest, I think as Indians, we're very good at copying and just pasting the laws without really knowing if it actually works for our country. That's just the brutal, honest answer. And even in my research work that I have been doing, I've been a very big critic in saying that we are capable of much more as citizens, and we are such good thinkers, but I just don't know why we just don't want to apply our mind. And we've come so far from colonization, but we still have English laws in place. If you look at, say, for instance, our company law is just the same as the English company law, but our market is different. So the English system is very well thought of, and the Indian is not so much. Not much research has gone behind it. Not that I'm criticizing the drafters of the law itself, but a lot more can be done in making the law a lot more rounded. As for the educational systems, I think the English system is way far ahead, and there's a lot of catching up to do, which most Indian universities are doing right now. But the pace can be improved slightly better, in my opinion. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ms. Ashwati.
The next question is to Mr. Ayush. Sir, you have not only participated in several competitions, but also trained students for several others. Can you tell us some of the key skills that you would recommend students to invest their time in?
Okay, thanks for that, Chriswin. Yeah, to set a little context for those of you who may not know, I did train students in debating and Model UN, and 4 of my students were the youngest winners at Oxford University's Model United Nations Conference in 2017. Okay, now the caveat with your question, Chriswin, is that not everybody would be interested in picking up the same skill sets, right? Not everybody, like, we'd be living in a very monochromatic world if everybody had the same skill set. Okay, but in terms of what advice I'd give on picking up skill set from the little training I've done for school students is that one very important thing that you should have is to be able to communicate effectively what you have in your mind, regardless of what your skill set is, whether you're a musician or whether you're in the field of science. As long as you can effectively communicate what you have in mind, I think that makes a lot of difference. Because one of the major challenges that I think any industry or any stream will have is that the experts in that field are not the most apt in terms of conveying the importance or seriousness. Let me give you an example. We all know global warming is an extremely pertinent issue, a very dangerous challenge that we're facing now, right? But if you go on TV and watch a scientist explain global warming and its consequences, it's somebody who has the knowledge, but he isn't really delivering it effectively for a common man, right? So I think that's a very important skill set that everybody should pick up, which is communicating effectively what is in your mind to the entirety of the audience. And this is something that I think teachers have the biggest challenge, because they have to communicate all of the knowledge that they know to students who still don't know anything about the subject and make them understand. So I think that is a large skill set that students can pick up as well.
That was very helpful. Thank you, Mr. Ayush.
Thank you.
My next question again goes to Miss Nina Justin. I'm very sure that St. Michael's has played an important role in shaping you to get into this career. Could you please share a few of your cherished moments in your school life as a proud Michaelite?
So I studied in Michael's for about 12 years, from my first to the 12th. And I think Michael's was an important foundation for me because the career that I have chosen to be in the communications field, you need to have exceptional English. And that is something that I definitely learned from school. In fact, Dixina ma'am, who's on this call, also taught me in my 11th and 12th. And before that, we had some of the teachers that some of my, the others on the call will remember, Joyce ma'am, Malati ma'am, Elizabeth ma'am, and all that definitely taught me when I was growing up. So I think that definitely did play a role into where I am today. Apart from that, I think I've made a lot of good friends and we still continue to be in touch. In fact, that's one thing, right? You make friends from school and you end up being friends with them until for a really long time, that is. So I made some good friends. Apart from that, I think Michael's, the campus was beautiful. I don't think I've ever seen anything like that. And I think you're really lucky to have that right now. When I went to college, I went to MOP Vaishnav, and the first time I entered that college, I was like, oh God, I can't do this. I've come in from such a beautiful campus and this is like an apartment. And I think Sanjana Sarathi, who's here, will also know what I'm talking about because she was in MOP too. And then later you get used to it because after a point, you know that this is something that you've picked and you have to get used to it. But yeah, so I think these are definitely some things that I always look back and think about, right? I've made great friends. I've had an excellent school life. I think a lot of things from school stand out, no? Assemblies, canteen breaks, trying to dodge all this running around school during sports days. I used to hate running. I hated sports. Then library hours. I used to enjoy being at the library. And I was a huge Harry Potter fan. And I think all the books came out when I was in school. So a bunch of us from class would be exchanging books and, casting spells and things like that on each other. School bus. I lived in Besanagar, so I used to go in the school bus. Some of my batchmates would come with me in the school bus as well. So all these small memories are what I have. And the friends I still am with today, we definitely do talk about some of the funnier things that have happened in school and things like that. So yeah, those are some cherished moments. Oh, not to forget excursions. Excursions definitely was something that all of us look forward to, right? Amusement parks or wherever we were taken to. So yeah, those are some of the things that I can remember right now.
Thank you for such a sweet answer, Mom.
So, if not an actor, what would you have chosen as a career and why?
Okay, that's an interesting question. So, I did try out a lot of other things as well, just to get an exposure. I did explore a lot of other avenues. But like I said in my first answer, not to sound very cliche, but I think nothing else made me happier than to do this. I just loved being on stage. I love performing. And then even in school, they saw that potential in me because I was a backbencher. I was not an A+ student. I preferred being on stage than studying in class. And I used to get punished. I think Dixina, I've been punished by Dixina ma'am also for, skipping classes or not submitting my homework on time. But having said that, she taught me 9th and 10th. And she also recognized the potential in me. And like her, other teachers like Joyce ma'am, they all knew that I, wanted to do this more than studying. And I sort of found a balance somehow. But I did try a lot of other gigs. I tried styling, in the same field. I did all of that. But I didn't exactly have a plan B. It's very important to have a plan B in case your plan A doesn't work out. But I knew this is my passion. This is what I want to pursue. So I did try a lot of other jobs, but nothing else made me happier than doing this. So I'm exactly where I want to be, but I still have a long way to go, a very long journey, and I'm working towards it. Thank you.
Miss Stephen, was there a defining moment in your time at school when you realized what you wanted to do?
Hey, Amika. So I can't think of a single aha moment that, made me go like, wow, this is it, But I think there are multiple smaller moments that go together and, help me shape as a person, right? For example, one important thing that school helped me is stepping out of my comfort zone. Like Sanjana mentioned earlier, right? I was not very good at singing or, at dancing as such, but the school always presented us with an opportunity. Teachers pushed us to give our best and try things apart from, whatever we were comfortable with. And that, I think, in my life also going, I every time I'm stuck with something very uncomfortable, I'm always thinking, okay, you know what, in school I couldn't even sing, but there I was in the choir singing like in front of so many people. So if I could do that, I can still do this, right? So that kind of a courage is what school has given us. Second important thing that school did is it starts early, right? And because of which, as right from kids, we've been waking up early and so on. And over time that has actually helped me, because I kind of start my day earlier than what I've seen other people do, and it helps you plan your day, prepare better for the day, and you tend to be much more relaxed that way. And that's a very important value for me, actually, like waking up early and planning my day, right? That's a very important thing that I've learned. Third thing that I've learned from school is the people skill, right? So when I was my 10th standard, there used to be teachers who used to push you, saying like, you can do much better, right? And today when I'm a manager and I am working with people, and so I see someone struggling, I want to encourage them the same way that our teachers did, right? So I think these were the kind of those small movements, right, that kind of built up at Michael's and has shaped me into the being the person that I am today.
That was very inspiring, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you.
My next question is for Miss Sonalini Esther. So, for every Michaelite, St. Michael's Academy has been a source of different qualities and talents. In that way, what quality or talent has St. Michael's Academy given you the opportunity to acquire, Miss Sonalini?
Okay, let me start off saying that you phrased that question really well, in the manner that, Michael's helps you to acquire qualities and acquire talents. It's been phrased very well. Good job on that. So I would say, like, adding to the fact that it fosters all the talents that we already have by, like Rinku said, presenting opportunities for us. Besides that, I think one of the biggest qualities that Michael's has helped me to acquire is that I'm comfortable following offbeat paths, not mainstream paths. At the moment, our studio is looking at, designing furniture lines. So we're kind of prototyping that. So this is obviously not mainstream, it's not engineering. And I'm saying, this is offbeat. And to be comfortable with that is something that Michael's has, taught me. And at the same time, that a corollary of that is that everything doesn't hinge on academics. Now, I'm saying this not to, take away the importance of academics. Academics is very important. My batchmates will vouch that I was very into academics. But, at the same time, your future does not hinge on that. And, so it helps me. I've also taught at university, so it helps me see potential in students besides the realm of academics. And the fact that you can be successful at life doing what you do, as long as you put your heart into it. That is a quality, I would say, that that Michael's has fostered and really nurtured in me.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah.
Mrs. Fatima, did SMA play a part in you deciding to pursue a creative stream in your graduation, designing and interior architecture? How so?
Thank you, Amika, for the question. So actually, to be honest, when I was in Michael's, I was very carefree. Like they said, we were all around. It's not like we were fixed to just culturals or sports. We were given a huge stage to perform. We can be good at culturals at the same time, good at dancing. We were able to give. We were given that independence to choose what we want. But one thing I was very sure when I was in school, I didn't want a desk job, like a 9 to 5 job. I wanted to be in a creative field. So I always told my parents that I want to do something different. So when I was in school also, I was not sticking to books. I used to volunteer. I used to help art sir with painting, background and all that, doing the props for Christmas assembly and stuff like that. So I always knew I wanted to do something creative and not this. Initially, I did do arts. I did BCom, but after 2 years, I switched over. and I was behind my fellow students 2 years back, and everyone were moving forward. But still, I was happy in the end where I was, and I pushed back all my ups and downs behind my shoulders, and I went just further. And the day I got my degree is when I realized we should always follow our heart and go by that. And Michael's for sure is a backbone. I will never forget for the way it molded me. The decisions which I take till now is because of what Michaels has given me. They give you the freedom to think out of box always. I don't think so anywhere in the world like we can get such good exposure, healthy exposure.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
My next question is to Mr. Vikram Kota. The future promises to be very different, with more dependence on technology, who are tech savvy and digital junkies. What have you to say about the present generation, their attitude, behavior, and lifestyle? Any advice for them, sir?
Thank you. Good question. I'll keep my answer short. We have short time. I think dependency on technology is not a bad thing if you're not able to, if you're able to control it. You cannot be addicted to it, or you cannot be dictated by technology. So we have to work with technology for it to become a benefit to us so that we become more productive. You have to learn technology. There's no two ways going ahead. And you have to keep abreast of new things like artificial intelligence, big data, Internet of Things, which are going to be there forever henceforth. So let it not rule life. At the end of the day, human beings are social beings, and we need humans to live together. So as much as you're with technology, you also have to learn to connect with people in human ways. For examples, in hotels, in the past decade, we started using a lot of technology, and but still, a lot of people thought that people are going to lose their jobs to technology. But that has never happened, because people like to see people, especially in service industries. And I think you should use technology to make this interaction a better interaction.
Thank you so much for your enlightening advice, sir.
Sir, everyone has an experience that would bring nostalgia about the alma mater. Can you tell yours, sir? And also, as a doctor and an ex-Michaelite, what is one advice that you would give to the present Michaelites?
Okay. Very good question. Again, if I go back when I was running in the, on the field in the St. Michael's School after my 10th standard exam, and Mr. ACG Francis was timing me, and then on a 400-meter track, he said, "Kana, you have run 400 meters in sub-minute. That means you should become an athlete. You should run. You should not do boxer. Come on, go and do this." I said, "Whoa, sir, definitely." Then I saw the Jesse Owens Return to Berlin. It's a documentary, and then I got inspired that if this human being can be alive and running like this, why can't I do it? So from that time, I had a passion to run for my country at the Olympics, as Dr. Radhakrishna was saying, that he wanted to play football. I said, wow, this is what I really love about. So when I went into training and do all this, but after entering medical college, it was so difficult. But I kept that passion going, and I want to be at the Olympics. You won't believe me, I had been with the Indian cricket team, 89 West Indies tour within 3 years after my medical college. But 96, when I was with the Atlanta Olympic team, I had my dream come true. Because I was with the Indian hockey team as a physician, training them for their fitness, running with them on the field, etc., which I felt was like I'm being a player. So I didn't run for my country, but I ensured I took care of my athletes who play for my country. So I have been dealing with all this because of whatever that element that happened on those fields. You know, that's what I was saying. All the people who always say, "Sir, on the ground and on the ground is the best, sir." That's the key. Even Joseph was saying, what a encouragement the staff gave us. So even today, I recall back my biology teacher, Basmati Sundaram ma'am, who made me take biology as a program. But with that goes ACG Francis sir and Mr. Uh, Joseph Arana, who was a boxing coach, and AC Franz was the physical education teacher. Brother Francis, Brother Berkman, Brother John Boniface, all these people who are principals, who have taught us, I really owe them so much that all of us would have met them. Some of you would have met them at least if they have been there as they have been there for a long time. Now, what I want to tell my students is, a lot of them said about a professional attitude towards things, Everyone need not be studying. I never thought I would study and go into medical college here. Let me tell you this. I never thought. I was doing playwriting and writing a lot of plays, enacting. In school, I had done 2 plays, written and directed. That's what I was keen on. But my mother said, no, you're going for medicine. But because the school had given me the base of, very good ICSE standard, I could just take it up and walk in. So you can do anything in life. If you enjoy doing it, just go for it. Nothing else can hold you back. Always you will feel, sir, sir, I should have done that, sir. I somehow missed it. So I never miss that because I'm always with athletes, training them. The 200 meters record holder of the country, Mr. Natarajan, broke Milka Singh's record when I trained him. So all this happened because I was passionate about sport. Even today, it's the same thing. My hair stand on end when I see a national anthem and I see our athletes performing, national flag going up. So nobody can give us this much amount of limelight, like sport gives us. And that is life. Move and then you are healed. So understand, without movement, all of us can shrink. So move on a regular basis, exercise on a regular basis. Need not be a champion, but if you want youth to be with you, work for it physically. Then the mental and the social and various other components are constantly accompanying that physical growth. It cannot happen without it. And a lot of parents feel, if I study, I can't play. If I play, I can't study. Please throw this out. Because you played, you actually study faster. You can absorb more. And I'm encouraging the principal and the staff there, please encourage your exam going students to play for half an hour in a day. And so they will have all the hormones working in the right direction to study and enjoy their exams. And one thing in life, your exams are not over when you finish your 10th standard, 12th standard, or your professional. Every day I'm examined by my patients whether I pass or fail. Like every profession does. Like the pilot who takes off every time he is tested. Like that, each one of us is tested. So you cannot escape that exam on a day-to-day basis. So exams are never over. So these exams, don't study for them. Study for life. You want to excel in life, go for it. And make your mark in life. Whichever small way it can be. But do excel in that to your satisfaction. Not to compete and beat somebody. It's because you wanted to do that well. And the school has given you that platform. I wish everyone the very best. I'm very sorry I have to take off here, but my heart is here and my body is on the other side. I promise the principal, sir, brother, anytime, any help, as all of us would give our heart anytime for the school, today and anytime. I thank all of you. Fantastic guys seeing you all. It's like seeing the school there directly, and I'm being there. I appreciate everyone. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for your wonderful answers. I'm sure that'll help us a lot. Thank you once again.
I shoot my next question to Mr. Sudarshan. What advice would you like to give to young champs like us to make us shine like you?
All right. Sorry, yeah. First of all, like it was already mentioned, sometimes we have this tug of war between what the mind wants and what the heart wants. I think personally it's better to follow your heart, because at some point in life when we look back, I feel if we go with what our heart says, we'll have ownership and responsibility for whatever that has happened. Because the mind generally tries to pick out, it sees what it thinks is the best advice, whereas the heart does not do that. And have a dream, pursue it with all your passion, and remember that everybody's timeline is different. So it's your responsibility must be to be the best version of you in your own timeline, and it'll do you good. If we never compare ourselves or our timeline with others, because success, this was also mentioned, success is measured best when we just compare ourselves with our own self. Are we better than what we were yesterday? Are we better than what we were a year ago? Are we getting there where we want to get, what we had in our mind and in our heart? More importantly, are we getting there or not? So I think that would help you go a long way. And patience, please have patience. This is coming from somebody who's extremely impatient. So yeah, patience is a very important virtue which will really help you go forward.
Sir, we'll surely follow your advice, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.
Again, this question is directed towards Mr. Vikram Ravi. So, sir, how do you think we should adapt to changes in career options and take risks, especially when we are in a society that craves stability and security?
So with respect to the career path itself, I think, looking back in school, and a lot of things that we're talking today is actually hindsight. It's we did not know all this when we were in school. So we are now looking back and thinking about how we've come to wherever we are now. And similarly with the career path, we at least me at school, I kind of assumed that I have to do this and then this will happen and this will happen, right? You think it's a straight path, right? And that's what you want to strive for as an individual. But from what I've seen with my experience and my friends, my close friends who in fact have all still been St. Michaelites, I still hang out with 6-7 people, or closest of my friends, all of them St. Michaelites. And with all of us, there have been different points in time where we have taken different paths, right? And going back to what Sudarshan was saying, if you did, go down a path where, your mind said something at some point and your heart is saying something else, you just need to take that leap of faith, whether you call that, a leap of faith because of you believe in God, whether you believe in yourself or whatever, you just need to take that leap of faith and change that and not worry too much. Don't think of it as a risk. Don't think of it as things are changing and so on. Just go with your heart, go with the flow, and things will be fine at the end of the day. Because the one thing that we all have as a common thread is the fundamentals, right? It's not really about how much you know in mathematics or science. It's how you're being taught. It's your environment. It's how the school is nurturing you, which you will kind of look back and actually appreciate in a lot of ways. So that's it. Thank you.
Thank you for your insight, sir.
And at last, my final question to Miss Anna. Ma'am, what advice can you give to students who are pursuing a similar career path as you? Being the business world being as cutthroat as it is. Can you give us like any heads ups or some?
So advice per se, I think is a little, I don't think I have advice to say. You guys are obviously very well informed, articulate. You seem to know what you guys want. You ask informed questions. But I think some things that help anybody would be just being curious, nurturing your passion, learning, always learning. And by always learning, I mean, not just sort of, in a passive way, but actually hunting things down and saying that, this might be important to me. How can I pursue it? What all can I learn about it? And just generally being curious. Don't get jaded. Don't think that, because I've become a doctor or I'm working or I have this job, I'm ready and I'm relaxed and I can sort of take things easy. I think what is really important at any stage, whether you're 50 or 30, is to be curious, to be engaged, and just pursue what you really enjoy. If you really enjoy it, you'll do the other things that go with it. So all the best, and really enjoyed chatting with you all, and I hope this was helpful in some way.
Thank you so much, ma'am. It was an honor having you here.
Thank you.
This is my final question to Joseph Daniel, sir.
So, what aspect of our school would you guarantee to each student and why? And also motivate our students for a better future?
Hi, Deborah. I just want to give you the good message, right? So, um, as Michaelites, I think there are some things that you should be confident about. I know the people who pass out of Michaels are pretty confident. They have a more rounded, experience when they come out of the schools. But what I would tell you is to be assured that when you get into the rat race or a competition of the world, do not be shrouded with all kinds of doubts. So there are two things that we need to keep in mind there. When you come out of Michaels, you're already at the top cream layer. You start hitting that layer. It is not a given. You have to work hard for that. But if you work hard for that and you are supported by an institution, you are part of the framework of that institution, you end up hitting the top layer of the outside world. So do not have doubts about it. And the second thing, I personally, the belief is above everything, God Almighty, right? So you are like the mustard seed. If you look at the gospel, it talks about the mustard seed, so small, when you put it in the soil. But then what comes out of it, the trees, when finally becomes such a big, we don't imagine that such a small seed would become such a big tree. So that is what I see around. So you are the seed, you guys around there. So trust in God. There is a master plan for each one of us. There's a whole timing about it. Do not worry that somebody is ahead of me or I am ahead of somebody. So there is a plan. That plan will open up. But if I have to let you in on a secret, which I personally have experienced, is when you go into an interview, right? I've interviewed many people. I've hired a lot of students out of colleges, in campus drives. So I've also been to VIT many times. One of the key things is we almost decide to hire a candidate or not in the first 5 minutes, even if the interview is for 1 hour. You look at the person, you have the introduction, you already made up in my mind. I have made up in my, it's not general, I cannot generalize it, but I can talk for myself. I've made up in my mind, I want this person to join my company, right? And then the remaining 55 minutes, we are validating the facts. We're validating the depth of technical knowledge. We're validating their experience list and all that. So I think to hit that 5 minute impression, the school is giving you everything that you can. So be willing to be molded by them, and be confident. That confidence of Michaelites is something that's uncomparable when you see it vis-a-vis with others. So I let you on a secret. Don't go telling about it, but that's my personal experience. So that impression, the first impression, the rapport that you create in the first few minutes, of course, you need to have content. The world is content driven. At least if you look at my company, it's Philips Lighting, which is now called Signify. We're world number one in lighting. But right, it is a meritocracy driven organization. So you need to know your mathematics, your computer science, right? You need to know the fundamentals, what your teachers teach you, understand the concepts, ask questions, be very inquisitive, and you will go far. So I think Michael's is making a lot of world leaders, socially very responsible citizens. So when you go out of Michael's, you carry that responsibility coat that you have to wear, and you will also have to share with others. So I would only recommend that. You will end up in a very high level already. You don't have to start at the bottom, because you are privileged people working, studying out of Michael's. So you really start hitting the top, but then you'll have to focus on your studies. You'll have to focus on your sports, the basics, and develop that. Yeah. So I wish you all the best, Deborah, and all the people, the Michaelites who are on the call. And I like to thank brother and ma'am for giving me this opportunity. Thanks a lot. Have a nice day.
Thank you so much, sir. That was truly inspiring.
I'd have loved to keep the ball rolling, but unfortunately, this is my last question for you, Dr. Varsha. On behalf of the Michaelites, I request you to say a few words to the students who are aspiring to achieve great heights in their careers like you.
Okay, thank you. First of all, I don't think I have achieved the very great heights in my career. I'm still in the process. I have achieved to some extent. I have a long way to go. But currently, for whatever achievements that I have had from my experience, one thing is you have to be very hardworking and committed to what you do. That is the key. You don't have to be really intelligent or have a very high IQ. You need hard work. So that is one thing. And you have to be resilient to failure. Failure, everyone has failure. Like there's a saying like failure is a stepping stone to success. So that you have to be prepared for failures so that you achieve success. So nobody is successful all the time. So that is one thing. So that is from a point of career wise. So achievements, when we talk about achievements, I don't think we should categorize it into only career, because being a good human being itself is a big achievement. And in St. Michael's, they are instilling these good values. So please carry it on. So whatever you learn, share it with others and encourage each others, because I feel words are the most important thing which can change anybody's life. You can put ideas into people. You cannot change the person, but you can change the way they think. And encourage each other to be the best version of themselves. So we have received a lot. So let us just try to be, give to each other a little bit more. That's all. So I seriously think that truly goodness is greatness. So being good itself is an achievement. So I think we should do that. So, yeah. Thank you so much for the opportunity, really.
Thank you so much, Dr. Varsha, for those inspiring advices.
Dr. Varun, this is my last question to you. A hero is considered to be successful on giving a blockbuster hit. When does a doctor consider himself successful?
Okay, thank you. Thank you for the question. Okay, a doctor considered successful, I would say, when he satisfies the needs of the patient, and I would say, like, when a doctor is in an emergency, when he deals with a situation very calm and composed, I would say that is when he is a successful person. Like when he knows the subject, and that's how it goes. Like so that he doesn't have any confusion to what the next step is going to be. So I would say that would make a doctor a very successful person. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Varun.
Mr. Rohant, I'd love to keep this conversation going since you've given us such interesting answers. But I have come to my final question. Can you give us any tips on how to handle jet lag and any advice for young people who want to become pilots?
Okay, so about jet lag, the thing is, your preparation for jet lag isn't something on a short term. If you have a healthy lifestyle, your body can cope really well with jet lag, and it's about adjusting to the time zone you're going to fly. So you're going to fly to. So they say it's easier when you fly west. For instance, let's say you fly out of Chennai. It's easier when you fly to Europe or the US, because it's easier to delay your body clock than to advance your body clock. That way, you could probably get a nap in the afternoon and try. It's something similar to staying up late at night in Chennai. So that's something which you could battle to, which you could use to battle jet lag. And for someone who's aspiring to be a pilot, I think that person is probably seeing the worst side of aviation right now. So many jobs are going down, and there are pay cuts right across the payroll, and so many things are happening. But I mean, aviation is an essential commodity. It'll definitely come back to where it once was, and it will in fact grow bigger, because Indian aviation market especially is the fastest growing aviation market right now. So it'll all be back. Continue working hard. If you really want to be a pilot, just go for it, because there's a huge potential in the future. And a very important thing is you have to be patient in training to be a pilot. You have to go through so many waiting periods just to get your license, or just for the government to process a couple of documents. So be patient, and if you really want it, just go for it and work hard.
I personally am looking forward to flying on a plane again. Thank you for your answers, sir.
Thank you, Shriman, and thank you, everyone.
This will be my last question for Dr. Radhakrishnan. So, Doctor, what is that one piece of advice that you would like to render to the Michaelites of today who look to you as an example to become very successful in life, just like you?
Yeah. Uh, I would say, like, to all my juniors from SMA, like, first thing, like, when you're having what you want to become in life, just be motivated of the particular field. You need to have the passion, because the passion what you have for the particular, irrespective of me, for me, if you ask me, I always wanted to be a doctor. It's my perception, it's either plan A is doctor, plan B is doctor, plan C is doctor, everything. I was ready to even wait for like 1 year, or even if I'm not able to get through the first year, wait till I achieve my goal. So, you need to have a passion for what you do, and automatically you get motivated towards it. And like that, the drive force which you get, that's what, like, which finally at one point of time you get it. And the basics, what the fundamentals what you get, especially from St. Michael's Academy, that's what, like, because what I'm today is, like, I always respect my school for, because, like, it supported me from I was interested very much into it, biology. And the drive force, like, slowly, like, after I finished my 10, it slowly came to 11th and 12th, and like something related to that, and finally ended up in medicine. So what I would say is, like, you can choose whatever specialty, it doesn't matter. To reach great height, you need to have the passion, and that changes into a motivation, and finally you reach that height.
Thank you, Dr. Radhakrishnan, for your very inspiring answers.
Thank you.
Okay, so my last question is to Ms. Ashwati. So, what is your advice to the law aspirants out there who are going to pursue this important field, which actually includes myself too?
Okay, so I'm going to be breaking a myth over here. So there is this very common misconception amongst parents of students who want to do law. That is to think that only if you go into a national law school, you would reach great heights. But I myself am a student of a non-national law school. So the way I look at it is life is a 25-storied building, and the 25th floor is the maximum you can reach in terms of your career. And we all start off at the ground level. Probably as national law students, you get to take the escalator or probably the lift to the 5th floor. And as a non-national law student, you might have to take the stairs, but you would have to do it the harder way. But from the 5th floor to reach the 25th floor, it's what you do, right? So it's your work that goes in. It doesn't matter how fast you reach the 5th floor, but ultimately how you reach the 25th floor is what matters the most. So my advice for any law student is, don't try to be that person who adds 1 plus 1 to get 2, but rather be that person to add 2 plus 0 to get 2. So be different and do it your way, and always focus on doing things differently, because that's what I did and that's what makes me stand out slightly more than my colleagues. So thank you so much for this opportunity, and I really wish you the best, Anne, and everybody else who wants to take up law as a career. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ashwati, for that wonderful answer.
This will be the last question to Mr. Ayush. Mr. Ayush, you started your own company, straight out of college. Can you tell us what motivated you to start your own company?
Okay. Nice question. Truth be told, I actually started a company when I was in college. Me and a couple of batchmates, we had our own web development, application development, design, and branding firm, which was basically just us trying to leverage our skill set and make some money on the side while we were still studying. So we had a little bit of a hands-on experience on what it means to run a company, like when we were in college itself. Straight out of college, me and a set of other friends, we were thinking of how we can leverage our skill sets when it comes to, say, debating, modeling, and public speaking and the likes. And that's how the idea formed. And given that we were the who's who, we were familiar faces in the country when it came to debating, modeling, and public speaking. we decided why not, let's give it a shot, let's see how it works out, and it actually did pretty well. Like, truth be told, we did pretty well for ourselves for a startup that consisted of 4 people. In our first year, with basically close to no capital, we had a turnover of about 1.5 crores. So in a country where there's a lot of startups that churn very often in terms of the idea failing or something not taking off, I think we were pretty lucky in terms of having everything work out for us, or at least most things work out for us. So that was how the idea was born. The idea was predominantly to utilize some of the skills that we had and see if we can, leverage that and do something out of it. And since this is going to be my last question, I just thought I'll take this opportunity to thank the teachers and the principal for inviting me onto the stage and for giving me an opportunity to speak. Rohant and I think, are the youngest here on this panel from the 2013 batch. There's To close off, I just like to say one small word of advice to all Michaelites: just be confident. You've been exposed to a whole lot of things that most other students don't get a chance to in school. So, like, I think we had one other panelist say that we're privileged to have studied at St. Michael's. That is pretty true. My brother just graduated from St. Michael's, and this is one thing that he has said at some point, and it actually resonates right now. He said you can't spell Michaelite without ELITE, elite. So that actually makes sense. Like, we're privileged to have gotten a lot of opportunities here, which many people don't get a chance to. So take care. Wishing all of you a pleasant day, and all the best.
Thank you so much for your wonderful answers, Mr. Ayush. We wish you the best of luck in your future endeavors.
And finally, Miss Nina, what would you like to share to your lovely junior Michaelites, including us?
I think the most important thing is the drive to success. I would just say that all of you identify what is that one or two things that you're really good at and you would like to pursue for a long-term basis. It can be anything, right? It can be like a hobby, it can be a career option, it can be a subject that you're interested to learn, whatever it might be. Because right now, opportunities are plenty. They're not so limited anymore, isn't it? So I think that's one thing. Identify what you want to do and then just work really, really hard to be able to reach where you are. Because that's exactly what I did. I chose journalism as my core subjects, and I thought journalism was what I wanted to do. I wanted to get into television reporting and all that. And then in my final year, the entire interest changed. And then I figured that this is what I want to do. It was all because of one teacher and one subject. My entire career paths changed, and I picked public relations and corporate communications. So then I had to obviously figure out how to move forward, and it's very important to get as much as experience in the field that you want to pick as well. So in turn, when you're of age, you can start doing internships. There are a lot of learning opportunities available. And once you know what you want to do, I think it's very easy. You just have to work really hard, be extremely passionate, and then definitely you will need a very strong support system as well. And I think my family has been great support. So because I work extremely long hours and I live really far off in the city, so there are a lot of factors that are at play for me. But you need to have a very good support system to back you up, and my family has been a great support system for me. And more importantly, you should also be willing to learn and unlearn because technologies are changing rapidly. When I started 6 years ago, public relations was all about papers and magazines. And now, if you look at it, you have social media, you have digital communications. During the lockdown, we've seen a lot of formats opening up, right? Like, I don't think would you have ever thought you'd be attending classes online. That's something entirely new for all of us. Similarly, everything's moved online now. There are podcasts that you can listen to. So there's so much of learning and unlearning opportunities that we have received. And I think if not for this lockdown, we would not have got all of this. So it's always important to look at the brighter side of life and just remain focused and embrace everything that you can get, the ups and downs, and just keep cascading through. So I think that's what I really like to tell all of you. And on that note, I think it was really nice to talk to you, Halsey. And thank you so much to all the teachers, the brothers. I think this was an amazing platform. And I do hope that you'll continue doing something like this because I think it's great to have various panelists from different career fields to come and talk to the students. I think this is a great idea and an amazing platform. And I'm sure a lot of my batchmates would love to be a part of this as well. So yeah, it was really nice to be a part of this, and I hope you all do so much more. Thank you so much for inviting me.
Thank you for such a motivational answer, Mom.
Question to Ms. Kanchana. So, briefly describe your life in St. Michael's and what would you like to share with the Michaelites? I'm sorry, you're muted.
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. So where do I start? I don't think I can sum up how my life was in Michael's briefly, because if anybody asks me what were the best years of your life, I'll say my life in St. Michael's Academy, because those 14 years, I think, I learned so much as a person. I grew as a person. Literally, like Reshma said, that was my second home. And I always enjoyed going to school because I made the best of friends. And I don't think I can ever describe in words what that place meant to me, because it literally gave me everything. And when I left school, I got so emotional because I didn't want to leave school. I still wanted to stay back, and I still wanted to study and recognize, and it literally nurtured me as a person. And what I would like to tell you, Michaelites, is that, and this place really helps you face rejection a lot. It helps you handle rejection in a very strong and mentally in a very healthy way, I would say. And that's what I took back from Michael's a lot. And I would say that always do what you love and what you're passionate about. There'll be hundreds of people telling you that, some of them, maybe even your friends or your family members, telling you that, you can't do this, and they'll not believe in you. But that shouldn't stop you from becoming who you are. Because at the end of the day, you need to like literally shut out all those voices. And it's very difficult because in every industry you will face a lot of rejection more than success. But never stop climbing that ladder up, because a lot of hard work and dedication will get you where you want to be, because you'll never know who you will meet at the right place and right time. You just never know who will come across and meet you and give you the right opportunity and help you succeed. And yeah, life is all about ups and downs. And I think against these odds, if we all go against these odds, that's what makes us a winner. And I think Michael's really helped me nurture all of this. And really like to thank the principal and the teacher and ex-Michaelites. And I know some of them, like I've literally we've taken part in culturals together. We've done a lot of things together, like Rinku, Nina, all of them. We literally used to see each other every day in school, and Reshma, of course. So thank you guys for having me here. I really enjoyed this session. And I feel like this could have been done in school if not for the pandemic in our beautiful premises. That would have been a lot more fun. But, something's better than nothing. So thank you so much for having me. I had a great time. Thank you. Thanks, Kanishka. Nice talking to you. Thank you.
Finally, Ms. Stephen, achieving success in your career, do you have any words for the young students of SMA to create their own path of success? Ma'am, you're muted.
Sorry. Yeah. So I was saying, I'm a 2017 grad, so I'm still climbing the corporate ladder, as they call it, right? So I'm still learning a lot. But if there are three things that I would like to leave behind, I think first thing is smart work, right? So yes, it is important to work hard, right? But it is also very important to know where you're focusing your energy, and putting it focusing it effectively on the right places. And trying to find out how you can be different and better from others. But it's just hard work is not enough, right? Work smartly in that direction. Now the second thing that is important, and that is also goes into helping you work smart, is observation, right? So wherever you are, especially in a new environment, always observe what is happening around you, take learnings from that, right? See what value you can add to that area, and then try to act on it. Because sometimes it's very tempting for us to walk into a place and be like, yes, I can do this, I can do that. But when you observe things, you tend to learn in detail, in depth, about what is happening there, and whatever you contribute, right, will then be much more impactful than you just walking into a place and taking decisions without knowing anything, right? Third thing that I wanted to talk about is perseverance, right? There are a lot of things in life that might not seem to go well, right? Every day won't be good. So it is very important that you keep your goal in mind, right? It could be something short term like an immediate promo, it could be something long term like I want to become the CEO of a company, but keep that goal in mind and persevere, right? And try to trim out things that are not essentials, keep focusing on that. And then again, that's where my first two goals first two advices kind of stitch in, right? Observe your environment and smart work towards that goal and keep going. Every time you feel down, you feel like you can't do this anymore, you doubt, have any self doubts, feel free to reach out to your loved ones. Read up online about other people who have faced similar issues and all of that, right? And that will help you stay focused on your goal. So yes, so if I had to leave three things today, it is smart work, observe, and persevere. That's the three things. So again, very feeling very privileged for this opportunity to address you all. Would have loved it to be on campus, and address you all directly, but again, very grateful that I got this opportunity as well. Thank you all. If in case any of you have any questions with regards to should you do MBA, CAT, or anything, feel free to reach out to me. Always available for a talk. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you so much for spending time with us and patiently answering all our questions, Ms. T.
Thank you.
Unfortunately, this is gonna be my last question for Miss Sonalini Esther. You are the founder and the principal architect at the Atelier. What advice would you like to give to this new generation of Michaelites who look up to you to become as accomplished as you in life?
First of all, Irene, thank you for doing a wonderful job today. Thank you for actually, your questions have been researched and, all the time and effort you've put into it. Thank you for that. And thank you for this question again. It's been a privilege interacting with you. And I want to thank the school management, the teachers, the principal for giving me this opportunity. It's, like I said, it's marvelous to give back something when you've got something. So thank you. And so you're asking me about what I would say to the ones coming up. First of all, I would say that it's okay if you've not figured out things. I mean, seriously, put thought into figuring things out. But if you're still confused, it's okay. I just want to kind of share this anecdote. It's a little story from Alice in Wonderland. We're all familiar with that. At this one point, when Alice is in Wonderland, she's a bit confused about which way to go. And the Cheshire Cat asks her, "Where do you want to go?" And then she says, "I don't know." And the Cheshire Cat says, "Then it doesn't matter." So I think that's very profound because just keep doing your best. It doesn't matter what route you take. Trust God, trust yourself, and life will get you there. But keep doing the best you can, and everything will fall into place. As for architecture, if you're looking at architecture as a discipline, there would be two things you'd need to keep in mind. One is make sure or start doing this, that you have an eye for details, because architecture is all about how people engage with the environment. We are designing for people, right? We're designing shelters for people, we're designing workplaces for people. So it's all about people. It's kind of like democracy, of the people, for the people, and by the people. So it's about people. So keep your eye open for details, so don't keep your I see a lot of even architecture students walking around with phones all the time. But keep your eye out in the real world, keep an eye for details, and then never forget that architecture is a reflection of the person and the way in which a person engages with the environment. So also in architecture, but also in all fields, you will find a lot of roadblocks. Sometimes there won't seem to be a solution to the problem. The problem will be so challenging, but don't look at roadblocks as the end of the road. Find a way around it. This saying is true: where there's a will, there is always more than one way. So I want to leave you with that. And thank you so much for this opportunity. Thank you and bye.
Thank you, Ms. Sonalini, for being here with us in your busy schedule to motivate and inspire all of us.
And finally, Mrs. Reshma Fatima, what would be your pearls of wisdom you could give us as a takeaway to the young Michaelitic generation out there who are waiting to take on the world?
Thank you, Amika, for the question, and thank you, teachers and brother, for having me on this panel. The one thing I would like to tell, it's never too late, and don't put a lot of pressure on yourself at this point of time. You will have it all sorted at one point of your time, at one point of your life, not now or any time in future. Also, it's a lot of pressure to fix our mind to one career and to pursue only in that. It's not a traditional thing anymore, like doctor, lawyer, or all that. There are thousands of opportunities out there where you can pursue and explore yourself. When we were back in school, the only mode of knowledge we got was from library or television or from newspaper. But to consider the current scenario, you guys have so much to explore. And being on a webinar like this, when we were in 6th or 7th, I think it was luxury for us. I don't even know if these things even existed back then. So thinking all this and keeping all this in mind, I hope you guys get to the position where we are in much sooner and easier, because there are a lot of mentors, a lot of people who you can go to and look upon. I wish you guys all the best. Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much, Mrs. Fatima, for answering our questions. We wish you all the best for your future endeavors.
This is my final question to Mr. Vikram Kota, which should be a promising one to all of us. As said by Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam, dream, dream, dream. Dream transforms into thoughts, and thoughts results in action. How have you pushed your boundaries to achieve your dreams? How have you faced constant challenges, sir? And how one should evaluate success and accept failure, sir?
Thank you. A nice question. Sorry. I think that's a nice question, Navisha. And first of all, thank you to all the teachers and to brother and to all the ex-Michaelites for making this such a beautiful morning. I've learned a lot from all of you. Coming to your question is, how do you evaluate success and how do you accept failure? To put it in a nutshell. So according to me, success is a state of mind. Definition of success can be different for different people and also different for the same person at different times. Maybe passing an exam may be success for you. For me, maybe signing a 100 crore new hotel may be success for me. There was an author, Stephen Richard, who said that the true measure of success is how many times you can bounce back from failures. So it's not about the stormy day like we had yesterday, but it's about learning how to dance in the rain. So you know the famous painter Van Gogh. He made 900 paintings in his lifetime, but he was able to sell only one painting, and that was a masterpiece which made a name for himself. So there are different, there are several success stories and failure stories. If you take Thomas Alva Edison, he failed 1,000 times before he came up with the light bulb. And when somebody asked him, how did you fail 1,000 times? He said, I did not fail 1,000 times, but I learned 1,000 times how to make a perfect light bulb. So that should be the concept of success for anybody. And how do you evaluate failure? I think failure should be seen in an emotional angle, and it should not be taken as a failure or something which you did not achieve. When you're not able to touch other people's lives positively, then you're a failure. But if you fail in an exam, you can always study again and you can pass again. And that may not be a failure, it's only a stepping stone. Always failures have to be taken as stepping stone unless you don't have people who care about you, then you're a failure. If you're not proud of yourself, then you're a failure. So those are the failures which nobody should face. But any other failure in your careers or in your whatever you're doing, is only stepping stones for you to learn better. So with this, I think I'll say bye to all of you, and it's been fantastic. And some of the questions have been very well researched, and I think I foresee great things for all of you, and all the very best to all of you.
Thank you, sir. Sir, on behalf of St. Michael's Academy, we thank you from the bottom of our hearts for making your time to enlighten and illumine our minds, hearts, and spirit to carry your illustrious legacy forward. May your legacy lead the way in discovering our calling. Thank you once again, sir.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Gratitude is not only the greatest of virtues, but the parent of all the others. I, Mrs. Helen John, feel privileged to render the vote of thanks on behalf of the entire team. An event like this cannot happen overnight. It requires planning and a bird's eye for details. I take this opportunity to thank our principal, Reverend Brother Thomas, and our vice principal, Reverend Brother Isidore, for initiating such an interesting show and being a pillar of support by guiding us throughout. I'm grateful to you, dear ex-Michaelites, for accepting our invitation and spending your valuable time with us today by exposing the secrets of your success and experiences of your journey to reach this height. Thank you all for patiently responding to the questions posed by our students. You will always remain a source of inspiration, motivation, and encouragement to the younger generation of our SMA family. I extend a deep sense of appreciation to our beloved students over here for the efforts taken by them to prepare the questions and for their enormous cooperation in the organization of this event successfully. I remember with a grateful heart all the people who were behind the screen to help us to get the ex-Michaelites for us today, for today's show. I would also like to acknowledge our gratitude to Mr. Satish and Mrs. Sandra Anthony for their willingness and involvement by lending us a helping hand with the technical arrangements. Finally, a sincere thanks to all the team members present here. It does not matter where you go and what you study. What matters most is what you share with yourself and with the world. A big thank you to one and all. Once again, God bless us all.
Thank you very much, my dears. I wouldn't have accomplished this without the help of our principal, our vice principal, and my lovely, lovely teachers whom I'll never forget in my life. I owe you a lot. Mrs. Dixina Nathan, Mrs. Helen John, Mrs. Maria Aruna, and Mrs. Anita Ribeiro. I wouldn't have done this. Thank you very much, ex-Michaelites. Thanks a lot for it. And we come to the end of the session. Thank you very much, everybody.